is going on? Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Mic check, 1 2. All right, that should do it right there, right? You got it right now. It's not muted. It was something else going on there, but it should be right now. You should be able to hear me fine and everything else. I had to switch microphones all the time. Something always goes on and everything else. All right. So as I was saying, Phil Issues guy should be joining us when he gets out of work. So LMR is supposed to be on here if she gets out of work early. So we have that right there. Friday, we will have Scott McCord will be on 7:15 Eastern time. We'll have the actor who plays Victor. So let's call him Victor. This because it's easier for y'all right there. We'll have Victor on here, right? We'll be going over the episode and everything else with Victor. Can't wait for that. And then in 2 weeks, we will have the actress who plays Julie. She will be on Sunday right after the show. All right, so we'll have her on. Also in talks with a bunch of other people and stuff like that and setting that up. So I'm waiting to hear back and everything else, and we'll have all that for you. And like I said, you know what I mean? We're going to get it in. So if you make sure you're a subscriber so that when he does get on here and stuff, you are able to call in and ask a question. You can still call in right now. As I said, Phil will be here, so you can call in right now. You know the number. It's on the bottom, 781-990-8509. Call in and do all and leave your stuff. You know, I'm here for you. This is the #1 show for the people, by the people, right here. The Don Tony Teflon #1 channel on YouTube for from. All right, so let's just go in real quick. I put out a theory today, so we'll talk a little bit about my theory. Then we'll go into all your theories and stuff like that. So my theory that I put out there has been a little. I've seen a couple of people put things in the comment section, you know what I mean, and that really didn't make a lot of sense and stuff like that. And I'm very respectful when I try to be, you know what I mean. I understand that people want to say stuff, and that's cool, and that's what it's all about, discussion, as long as it's put in a proper spot, you know what I mean. So people have said, because I said in the comment that we have never seen that these creatures eat people at all, and then people have said we've seen the Jasmine monster bite the tongue out. Well, she did bite the tongue out, and she then, after that, it's good to see you, Micah Lee. Thank you for your super chat. I truly appreciate it. We did see her bite the tongue out, but she spit that motherfucker out. So that is what that is right off the bat, right? She spit it out, so she did not eat anybody. In fact, you cannot tell me any. And then someone in the comments said something like, "Oh, you saying that they never killed anybody? What were they, tickling them?" I never said that. All right, so if you're gonna quote me, man, get the quotes right, man. I never said they didn't kill nobody. I said they didn't eat nobody. And when I mean eat, I mean I don't care about them biting someone and spitting the tongue out. I mean swallowing the flesh of another person. We have never seen these creatures do that whatsoever. And those are facts. That's facts. If you can point to me to one thing that I've seen, then please let me see it. Show me, direct me right to it. And then my thing is that the whole video was Jade going to go crazy, and I pointed out a whole bunch of things in my last video that points to Jade going crazy, and that Jade may lose his mind. Number one is Ethan saying that there are good symbols and bad symbols make you do bad things. When you look at Jade and you seen him in the first time he's ever seen the symbol was inside the bunker, right? When he was in the bunker. When we seen Victor's character and he was down there with Tabitha and he seen the mannequin or dummy, whatever you want to call it, you know what I'm talking about, right? It freaked him out to the point where he couldn't move, he couldn't do anything, even though he was in there with the monsters, he still couldn't move, he couldn't do anything, and paralyzed him with fear. Right, so therefore that must be 100% traumatic enough. That mannequin, popular, whatever you want to call it, so traumatic that he is already that something is fear. So he had to be fearful of something. So I believe that mannequin, because we also seen that same mannequin in the vision with Jade. Why would that mannequin be showed to Jade? The only reason that mannequin could be showed to Jane that I could see is that the picture that he's trying to get to Victor, that Victor's in the picture, is the same guy. And I believe that guy owned that mannequin. And that guy probably played tricks with Victor and everything else. But I believe that guy who was seeing those symbols became crazy. He went mad. And I think that when you see Victor come out of that bunker, we assume that all those creatures killed all those people. But I don't think that's what happened, because I think that when it's been so traumatic for him, because he comes out And then he grabs his lunch pail, hugs it when he's little, right? And that's what makes him want to hold the lunch pail and stuff. I think that guy did some crazy stuff. That guy killed all those people. Now, it is a different way he could have killed those people, right? He could have just shot those people or chopped them and left them there and made them vulnerable for the monsters to get to him. He could have killed them all straight up, just like we seen Boyd's wife try to kill everybody. I don't know exactly, but I do believe that guy is the one who killed or was responsible for the deaths of all those people, not just the monsters. So that's the theory and everything else. I also put another thing in there about the book and everything else, and that leads to Jade too. But watch the video if you want to know everything about it. I'm not going to go all into it and everything else. But again, let me say what up to the people that are here rocking with us before I forget. We got Captain Obvious is in the building rocking. What up, 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 Bruzy. Li's in the building. Phantom D Saint is up in this piece rocking with us. Blessed Life is up in here. TJ is up in here rocking with us right now, doing their thing and everything else. We got a bunch of people in here right now. We're going to keep it rolling and everything else. Unicorn 1 is up in here. Draven's Crypt is up in here. Draven's Crypt says the tea is poison. So I pointed that also in the video too. I do believe that there's a good chance that a lot of this food that we've seen them eating, or whether it's the tea or the pancakes or whatever, has some type of hallucinogens and or some type of things in it that the people who are in control of this thing want them to eat, and somehow we can make them more susceptible to all the stuff that's going on in there. I mean, it would only make sense if you wanted to figure out exactly, like, we wanted to get something in their body, you inject the chicken with it, and then you let them find the chicken, they eat the eggs, and then they get a little bit of it as it goes on. Or you put it inside of the what they're harvesting. You could put it in the weed if you want, in the soil, and they could be smoking it, and it could be something else in there. So it could be a bunch of things in there, but I do believe that something's going on with the food too. What up, Emily is in the building rocking with us right now. Unicorn 1 is up in here. Did I say Draven's Crips show is up in here and everything else. Jackie C is in here rocking with us. Anisha is in here rocking with us. Got a bunch of people. I will say what up. John Haymaker is up in here. And Carla, Wade, good day. What was the name for the Sheila? Yeah. I knew it was Ozzy Man. I always go by what Ozzy Man, so I don't know if it's real or shit. He be saying Sheila, so I'm saying Sheila too. But what up to Big Daddy? Big Daddy up in the building rocking with us in 1980. Rocking with us too and everything else. All right, Mr. Freeman's asking, I told you that Phil will be here as soon as he can get here. He's at work right now, but he's getting off of work, and when he gets off of work and gets ready, Phil will join in. But I do have calls and everything else from Phil that I have already that I will play. Selena says, I'm new subscriber. I'm glad I could catch you live. Well, I'm so glad you're able to catch me live. Again, Friday, 7:15 p.m. We'll have the actor that has Victor. He will be on here. We'll be rocking with him. Phil will be here guaranteed. And we'll be rocking with him. Make sure you come here Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Let's get those thumbs up for your boys going, so that way we can have a bunch of people in here. The more people that are in here and watching, especially when I have people on, then that's the more easier it is for MGM to give people to me, right? That's just the bottom line and stuff. I mean, it all comes down. And thank you for becoming a new subscriber. I truly appreciate it. 100%. All right, let's play a voicemail right off the bat. Let's get one of these in here. All right. Make sure you I don't know if I can pull it off now, because I don't know if I can if it's gonna pick it up. I don't know if I can pull it off. I don't think it's going to pick it up. 1 second. Let me see. What microphone is it coming out of right now? It's coming out of that one. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to be able to do that. I'll have to wait for Phil to get it. It won't work right now. God damn it. Laura is at her first live. Thank you for being here and everything else. Thank you for making it to your first. I hope. Usually it's not just me and stuff like that. The virtual graduate. Thank you so much for becoming a subscriber. TJ says, do you think the town space time bubble moves around, which is why no one can ever pin it down? and maybe it is a quantum AI that allows the location to be chosen just like everybody. I think that everybody is chosen for a specific reason. In fact, I'm almost convinced that all of these people have already been there. And whatever happened, so you see how Tabitha, every time Tabitha, like she's seeing her bracelet was already there. And she's like, how is it possible that this exact same bracelet can be here? Well, it's possible if Tabitha was already there, a Tabitha from an alternate dimension. And I think that it's quite possible there was a Tabitha from an alternate dimension that was there that left it there. I think that what happens in this town is whenever they run this experiment, whatever they're running, this experiment for, right? When the experiment is either done or when the experiment is just not, or they're about to figure out what happens, I think they kill everyone. They'll wipe everybody out. And then even the monsters, and they'll grab new people up and they'll bring the same from the same alternate dimension, the same people, and bring them over. So I think there's a good chance that everybody there has already been there before, just from an alternate dimension, all these people and stuff. Because when you look at it, and I said it before in the other video, when you look, you see, and thank you for 0XD for subscribing. Welcome to the family. Oh, there she is. I have not seen you in such a long time. It is so great to see you so much. Thank you for the Jesse and Michelle show. Thank you for the Jesse and Michelle show for subscribing, has become, I think you're a member, or is that subscribe? For becoming a member. Thank you. All right. You know who it is. She's here rocking with me. She's my partner, from the Lady and the Don podcast. We have not seen it. She's the one who started this From show with me, and she's not been able to do it because of job and everything else, and her family's gotten away, but she is here right now. She's the one. She is the only LMR.
Hey, Tony. Hey, everyone. It's so nice to be back.
It's
I
so
love it.
great to see you. So great to have you here. 1 second. There you go. You deserve it.
Oh, my gosh. Every day before I go to work.
How
So
have
nice
you
to be
been?
back. Crazy busy. Tired, but I'm here, and I'm so happy to be back.
I'm glad to have you back.
Yeah, I'm ecstatic.
Your seat is always here. Your seat's never going anywhere. You can always come back whenever you have the chance. So, since we haven't had you here in a little bit,
Yes.
Let's go through the first 2 episodes. How did you like the first 2 episodes?
I'm loving it. I decided to be a complete fan. I decided not to dissect what's wrong with anything. I'm just enjoying it, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving the characters, the plot, and anywhere it can go. I'm excited. Well, not all the places it can go, but mostly I'm excited too. The potential is great. Yeah.
It is great. All right. And the new characters, what do you think of them so far?
Well, a lot of them died. So their death scenes were, when what's his name? The one who died under the pile of stuff, something Brick.
What is his name? Brick. Yeah, Brick.
Yeah, I did not expect him to choke on his own blood. I expected more gore, even though we got blood, but not the kind of blood that I wanted to see. And I wanted, yeah, they're great, and I'm waiting to to see what happens with Christie's I forgot her name, fiance.
Yeah, Shorty. That's she's got running with her. Yeah, and y'all know Ella Mars. Ella Mars always, obviously, she's been a part of the Lady Don podcast. She's the lady, and I'm the second name of the Don in the podcast. And she has an emoji. If y'all remember, you could put up the LMR. I think you have a drink of Bloody Mary emoji.
Yeah, I haven't had those in a long time. I need one too. For the next one that I'm here, I'm gonna have one ready.
There we go. That's what it is. You look beautiful as always.
Oh, thank you.
Everything is fine with you. So as we told, this is a theory stream. So anybody, if you have a theory, put it in the chat and write theory in front of it, and then we'll talk about it. Everything else. Tommy Apples. As I said, what in the freak is happening with the show? I can't figure anything out. Well, that is why you have channels like myself to come here, and I will help you figure out these things. But if you have a specific question, please put it in there. Let me know what you're thinking, and I will do my best to figure it out and everything else for you and all of that stuff. So, Elamar,
Mhm.
deal with new characters and everything else. We have right now a death. Who do you think out of the main cast is the most likely to go? Someone's got to go. We know someone's got to
I don't want to be like, putting death curse on anybody, but
go.
I would love to see the drama that would unfold with Chrissy's girlfriend or fiance if something would happen to her. I would like to see what happens to the character, to other characters like Kenny
Mhm,
and Chrissy, what happens to them. I don't think she's gonna die right away. Maybe, not right away, although we are limited with episodes.
mhm.
Um, but that would be the first bigger thing that I would see happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think she's a goner. I don't see her surviving at all. It just don't. I don't see her place. They already have a hospital person. I don't think they need two.
Mhm.
So for that
Yeah.
reason, and I don't see this being a place of happy relations. So I think it's a good chance that all those people on that bus were brought there just because they wanted to bring her there for the drama. Because Kenny was getting too close to getting some ass, and the people in
Mhm.
charge said, "No, Kenny, you ain't getting no ass, Kenny. We got to put a monkey wrench up in this bitch." And they did.
Yep.
And I think it's very important to know that it took her 2 hours to get there. It takes everyone just about 2 hours when they get there from wherever they leave. I believe they're in Abbeville, South Carolina. That's
Mm.
where the paper is from. Abbeville, South Carolina is 947 miles from Michigan, so it should have took them a much longer time to get
Mhm.
there. So the only way we can explain this is if that faraway tree that's inside that road, and I don't think they're trees, I think they're teleportation devices,
Yep.
puts you through a teleportation device, puts everyone in there and teleports you to this place through a wormhole mechanism. And that's what I believe is going on. We have a theory here. It says two people left in the bar last episode will come back at night knocking on the door. Be let it because they are noticed as bus people, but they're monsters now. So they're saying that the
Hmm.
people in the bar will get killed and the monsters will take on their identity. Do you think that's possible to happen?
Um, I have not seen that happen. Many of the individuals who died, we have not seen them come back. It's not like vampires or zombies or whatever it is where they come back. And they have already their faces have been seen, so it's not like they can all of a sudden come back and taunt people who were on the bus with them because they would be recognizable. Nobody came back from death, from being killed. So that's kind of I don't see that happening. That would be a big surprise if it actually did. I would be confused by it.
I think you'd be able to get
Yeah.
everybody if that was the case.
Yeah.
There's also ways to tell if they're zombies. Just like when Elgin came, right? Boyd should have
Mhm.
known that he wasn't a zombie because he was running, right? And those
Right.
zombies never run. So
Yep.
that should have been
Yeah.
the dead giveaway. I would tell a zombie, listen, if you're not a zombie, go run around the house and
Yes.
come back and I'll let you in.
I'm gonna time you. Go. Right.
That's
Let's
it.
see.
Run your ass around the block, motherfucker. All right? And if you don't run, then you ain't getting up in here. That's just the
See, I
way
would
it
not
is.
be recognized as a non-zombie because I don't think I would run for my life. I'll be like, you know what? I might as well go right now. I'm not running.
And
Yeah.
everybody, I don't know if anybody realizes, but the bunker that Victor has, that truck is a peach
Mhm.
truck.
Yeah, something about food. I saw it on the side of
Yeah, it
it.
was peaches. It's the peaches.
Peaches? Was it
Yeah, it's
peaches?
peaches. So maybe that's
Mhm.
where all the peaches came from. You want
Oh,
to where these peaches? Maybe that thing it
that's a
broke
lot
down
of peaches.
and it was just full of peaches,
Wow.
and that's why he had peaches all this time and everything else.
Mm.
Lucy Bunny says, "Have you noticed that the monsters never do anything to the victims' faces, and that the chef caddy have been completely pulverized? Love your videos. Thank you so much for loving the videos. Love you that you love the videos, and love you that you're here rocking with us. Over 250 people rocking with us right now. I just said, Elamar, that there is no
Mhm.
proof. There has not been proof in one season and 2 episodes that these
Mhm.
monsters are eating anybody. How do you feel about that?"
Yeah, I have not, even the girl, what's her name? The one who, ripped off, the guy's tongue, like, when she was kissing
Yes,
him.
Jasmine.
Jasmine, yes, she spit that tongue out. She wasn't, It was in like a moment of like, that's delicious. I'm
Mhm.
gonna chew on that a little bit. No, she just spit it right out
Yeah, it
and just
wasn't beef
wiped it
jerky
off.
time. She didn't
Yeah,
scream
no,
beef jerky
no.
time and hold
Oh.
that down. She spit that out very fast.
Mhm,
And when she had blood drip on her dress, she tried to
mhm,
wipe the blood off. Like they
mhm.
purposely showed her try to wipe the blood
Yeah.
off and everything. So I
And as
don't.
far as the faces, I
Mhm,
don't think I thought about it even for last season. I think the only time they would rip off somebody's face, Donna in mentioned as she was explaining it to whoever she was explaining it to, like whatever happened to her, her sister's, I think, face, they said something about like being ripped off, but Dana knew who her sister was, so she knew who was it happening to. But for people who are just on the street, they need to identify the bodies, they need to have that connection, that emotional, like this is the person I know, this is their face. So by leaving the face, it's more of an emotional thing. You see their body all ripped up into pieces, but the face is kind of intact. So you
mhm.
can still have that, like, wow, I know this person, and there's their body all over the place.
I would like to know what everybody's blood type is in the show and see if that's a
Ah,
connection to them. Because I do believe that there's a good chance that these organs are being harvested. I don't
mm,
believe they're eating them. And the chest cavity is ripped open like they're trying to get,
yeah.
that they're trying to get at what's inside of them. They're trying to get at the heart, the liver, or whatever's inside of it.
Hmm.
Like they're trying to get at that. So to me, it seems like, why are you trying to get out? Are you carrying them away? No one's out there when no one sees it, so no one knows exactly what
Hmm.
they're doing with it. I don't think they're eating them. I think they're taking it. Could be harsh. This could be a whole big thing of a
Yeah.
harvest situation for the government, for the military, and everything else. So it may not be a coincidence that you
Yeah.
had Jade from you had the guy who was locked up there was from the military. The what's his name
Yeah.
again? ZZ
Mar
Top.
yeah.
I forgot his
Yeah.
name.
Martin, was
Was
it
it
Martin?
Martin? Martin, yeah,
Yeah.
Martin. Martin. He's from the military. Boyd's from the
Hmm.
military. His wife's from the military. And they had them locked up and everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it could be a situation where the military, the government, I think it's Jade's company, the company that he sold this quantum
Mm.
algorithm, is responsible for this later on in the future. That these
Mm.
people, and this is all time travel. Because it looked like to me that Boyd may have done some time traveling, because when he went into that faraway tree, he went into that building, and that building was full bore. And then when he
Hmm.
came out, it was like it was in ruins. So like he
Yeah.
went to the past when it was standing and came back when it was in ruins. What do you think about that?
Yeah, at first I didn't know if he traveled to different place, but then I saw those arches, and I think they were brick arches of
Mm-hmm.
some kind, and yeah, they looked very similar to the corridors that were inside, that he was inside of. So yeah, it was a bit confusing, that jump. I didn't know if if it's like jump in some kind of, I don't know, he's having some kind of hallucination, but then it continued, so definitely was not a hallucination when he came out from
Well,
those
he came out. He
corridors.
came out with the flame,
Hmm.
with the torch
Yeah.
in his
And
hand.
he
So
still had it. Yeah, and
yeah,
he had it in his hand and continued. I was just surprised that he would be running around the woods with that torch. I'll be like, you know what, dude? Like, how about you hide it so you're not seen?
yeah. And
But yeah,
what? All right. So let's talk about that real quick, because he got the worms put in his body,
yeah.
and it seemed like his vision. Martin said that he didn't have the best of visions, right? He said that before he did
Mm-hmm.
it. He put the word in his body, worms in his body. He said, "My
Yeah.
blood is now your blood." Do you think that the monsters couldn't see him, because it didn't seem like he had great cover? It didn't
Yeah, he did
seem like
not.
that he was standing there. I mean, maybe are these monsters blind? They can't see, or you think that maybe somehow with this blood in his
Mm-hmm.
body, he could have like the blood of the monsters, and they just ignore him because of it.
I wonder if that's one part, but I wonder if the way Martin was mentioning, like you saw that at, like referring to the monsters as in not so bad. I thought that actually that's different, in like in a way different level. So by him, when Boyd was just running, like running, as long as you have that energy, you can run away from them unless they corner you and you kind of lose your bearing where you are. But I think, and monsters, I think they're on a mission. They are not just going for anybody.
Mhm.
they're going, so even if they did see him, I think there's a different like plan for him in some way. So I don't think they would attack him. I may be wrong. I would not like to be wrong. I don't want him to die. I love his character. But I think he would not, even they would not go towards him.
All right.
Yeah.
Here, all right, let's take this super chat real quick.
Mhm.
Michael Lee, thank you so much. Michelle Mosier, Michael Lee, Michelle Mosier, same person. If time was trapped, how did the creatures pull him out, and why did they pull him out? And how did the creature get inside the house, and how did it not see Jim? A lot of questions there. Same scene. It's valid because when you see that monster jump, I mean, I used it on the profile, but it looked like it was standing straight up. They seemed
Mhm.
like they were just laying down. I don't know if there's some type of corridor that it could have been laying down in and stuff, but it seemed like it wanted him specifically, and it
Mhm.
didn't pull him out. And I think it did it to put his body on display so people could
Yep.
see that it's for the fear factor. They want to see. I want you to see it. What do you
Mhm.
think?
Yeah, definitely they're doing it for to I think it's psychological games. There I like I said in the beginning, the first season, that would be a perfect experiment if I wanted to torture people. I would just put them in a very controlled environment and throw different stuff at them and see how they react. And people even just at some point they snap, so seeing that gore everywhere, at some point they want to see how different people will react, and hiding a body will just, oh, somebody's dead, oh, they're dead, too bad. When you show that body all laid out on the green grass, I think it was green grass and red everywhere, that's a, that's serious, that's serious stuff. So I think they're doing it on purpose, and always on display. Chest is always up. They're never like, thrown to the side, like laying on their side. It's always on display for people to see.
Yeah, I think that doing it on purpose, they just want people to see it. And as for how, and thank you, Danny B2G, subscribe. Thank you. Welcome to the family. We'll take a theory here quick from Jay Hall. He says they take the organs to get the hormones developed for the fear, or is the food tainted with some sort of eggs that the monsters are retrieving? I do believe that the food is
Mm.
tainted by the higher up people that run this whole thing. And I think if they're taking the organs, it's back to them for some reason to because I think it's some experiment that's going on with these people, and when they kill them, they're checking the organs to see if something's
Mm.
happened to them. And
Yeah, I see that, them putting stuff in their food. I mean, they're getting the way they're growing their food, but I all the stuff that they have in a diner, that's a lot of growing. And how are they growing it? Like, I don't. Yeah, it's just some of it I think is still provided to them in some different way
mhm.
to feed the entire town unlimited. How would they know where to grow it from? Like, do they have seeds and all that stuff? So I think a lot of it, like, it is provided, and they can do anything they want to do with it. Put like different things for them to hallucinate if need be, or like some, like the person said, to just put stuff in their body, infect them with whatever they want if they wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at human experiments, right, and that they've done on regular human beings and stuff,
Hmm.
again, you could bring up how they infected black people that had syphilis, that they infected, but the ones who had syphilis and stuff, they didn't cure them, they didn't treat them. They said they were
Yeah.
treating them just so they could see what
Hmm.
the effects would be on black people, like it was going to be any different on black people. That it was going to be
Right.
like that. But I guess maybe they didn't know, or they
Mm.
wanted to find out, but they did that. It could be that they're trying to find cure for certain diseases, like Boyd has Parkinson's, so maybe they put him in there with those spiders to get bit up to see if that those spiders bites will cure his Parkinson's, which I think it will. And maybe that's why they're testing it. It could be other diseases that they always
Hmm.
have try to give you a reason when they do these disgusting things to people, and it's for the benefit of all mankind. Just like in the Nazis, when they in Camp Auschwitz, when they would do it to the twins over there, right? All the Nazis out there, and they would take all of the twins out there, and all the twins would
Hmm.
just be the twins. They would
Yeah, the twin
they
studies are very popular. Were very popular. That's the best in a way study, because you can do all kinds of stuff with twins. Well, could have,
Mhm.
but back then, yeah.
And everything. People are saying stop spamming. If there's someone spamming, I have have moderators that are in the chat, moderators in the chat. Everyone's trying to have a good time. Let's just have a good time and everything else. But if someone is trying to do something crazy in there, you know what you gotta do, put them in a box. And that's just the way it goes.
In a box. That's a good we should have like a little, put them out for one night without a talisman.
That's it. Put them in a box, and that's all. If I have to come in there, then you're in there with no talisman. They have the talisman. He's gonna leave you in there for nothing. But if I have to come in there, I don't see anyone spamming or anything else. But I can't really think. And if I haven't seen your question, and that's why you're asking it over, just put. It's hard for me to see. There's over 300 people in here. I'm seeing it's bouncing back and forth, so it's hard for me to see everything. All right. Kill Your Egos got a super chat in here. I do see the super chats. They light up. That's why I can see them easily. Do you think whatever Boyd was infected with is a gift or a curse? What do you think, Omar? Is it to hurt him or is it to help him?
Well, it does not look comfortable the way it's crawling around. I wonder if it's on his entire body. I think it's marking him. I don't know. I actually don't know. It may be a curse to him. Gift to others, maybe. If it's a gift to others, it's not. It may not be a gift to him. Like he, um, I just don't see it being as a way out. Because if that was the way out, Martin would be out. Like it did not help Martin. He died still chained. So I don't know what it would be that it would help masses.
Well, if somehow the monsters don't attack you because you have it, maybe that would be the gift of it. You can go in the cave with them. Because to me, it's like this is what, if you know where these creatures are sleeping, to me, it's time to attack.
Right? Yeah.
It's time to, they want to scare me at night. I'm going to come for them in the day. And I'm going to see what goes on. And I'm going to go in that cave. All you gotta do is know the way out, and they can't get you because all you gotta do is run. That's it. They can't
and even because we still don't know how to kill them, but to snatch one, to experiment on that creature, on that monster, to do stuff like expose it to light, shoot it a couple of times with something else, do something with a talisman, stuff like that, just to take it out and do some things to it in the daytime.
Yeah, exactly. Get out there, put it in the sunlight, and see if the sun affects it. Put it in the box, put some fire on them, throw some, whatever it takes. I check everything. So salt on his ass, the salt hurt, pepper,
right?
Garlic, rub it on him, whatever it is. Try everything you got. Take a rock, smash him in the head with it, axe, cut off his leg. See everything. See what it is. Figure this out and try to figure out exactly what's going on with them. And kill them. You can't cower forever. You know what I mean? I think that could be the part of this new guy, like AJ. I forgot the name of the character. I know the actor's name is AJ. But maybe the guy who put the gun to Kenny's head, maybe he's the one right there.
He seems very brave. He seems like a person who would take charge and go. Let's get them. And he would volunteer. It looks like he would be the one to volunteer for that stuff.
Yeah, let me see. They're saying I want me to put the chat on slow mode. Let me see if I can do it.
And Anna said tortures. Yes, it's not just about the pleasure of torture, although that would be fun. I'm sure to those characters that would be a great relief to actually inflict torture versus being tortured.
Exactly. I'm sorry. I'm seeing me on two different streams. Like how I'm on. Something's going on here. All right, look. Let me see if I can do this real quick. I've never done it before. Let's see if I can put it on slow mode. Community moderation, participants, toggle moderation spot. I don't see where the slow mode is located at for me to do it. Live chat. I don't see it. Toggle timestamps. Pop out chat, toggle participants, community moderation. What's that? Oh no, it took me somewhere else. That's not it. I don't see where it's at, the slow mode. So it's hard for me to see. I have to start a poll. That's just some reactions and emojis. I could put that. I would put me and LMR up there. I could send that out there. I don't see where it's at
Mm.
to do it. I'm sorry. I wish I could. I'll have to figure out exactly how to do that. But at this particular time, I cannot see it to go in slow mo. So I cannot do it. I apologize that I can't do it. That I can't slow it down right now. And so I'll ask Phil Films how to do all that shit and everything else. But I'm sure there's a way to do it because I have seen people do it. But I can't
Mhm.
figure out exactly how to do it. I'm sorry about that. All right. The main message is to learn how to drive. Wait, I got something for you, Teflon. Oh, do you really? Okay. Can you please say in order the emojis? Say in order the emojis that's on the things. They have their names on the emojis on them. Every one of them should have the name. You have Boyd is up there. Kenny is up in there. Boyd is up there. Did I say something crazy? Pause. And I didn't catch it. Boyd is up there. Kenny is in there. Tabitha is in there. Victor is in there. Jade is in there. Donna is in there. You know what I mean? So that's all. There's a bunch of things in there. So there's a bunch of emojis. Then you have Elamar, myself, Phil, and Bridge. But if you hover over the emoji, it tells you exactly who the emoji is and stuff and everything else. And that's just the way I'm in there twice because it's me.
Good. You should be in the beginning and at the end, or to
And
encapsulate everything.
that's just the way it is and everything else. All right, so we're going through and everything else. Yeah, but just
Mhm.
highlight over it and you can see the names over everything else and all that good stuff. All right, so still going on with theories that people have about this and
Mhm.
everything else. We're going. A boy wanted to go around scratching the tree, and now he got his ass got scratched. Jesus, right? Oh, look at Tamara. Let's just put highlight you. You are just so nice. You just too fine, Tom. Thank you so much. It makes me feel good. You make me feel good about myself, and I don't always feel good about myself. So it's that's nice to hear. Truly. All right, we had a theory from Sparks. Says, is the person with the worm arms able to create monsters, turn people or dead bodies into them? And that's why Martin was tied up. That's a lot to do.
Mm.
Turn people into monsters. Unless see if Martin was a monster, and then all of a sudden he gave his monster blood to Boyd, and it turns Boyd into monsters. Then I would see that. But what we did see is it being transferred over to Boyd, and it just seemed to get transferred over to Boyd with just the touching of blood. So you have to ask,
Mm.
could Boyd do the same thing? Could he cut his finger and drip it in some coffee
Oh my gosh.
and somebody
He should
drink
not
it?
work at the diner.
Yeah, somebody drink it. Now they got the worm blood in them. Do you think that it could be transferred over to
Mm.
people?
I think it can be transferred from Boyd, but I don't think Martin was able to create monsters. I think Martin was kind of got trapped, like he said. He got. I'm assuming he. Oh, I only watched it once, but from what I remember, he got through the tree and he got trapped. I don't think monsters trapped him. They might have, and if they did, it was on orders of somebody else, because he said, like, town, as in, like, you think the town is scary? No, that's a different level. There are more levels in a way. So I don't think he can create monsters. Monsters, I think, are different creatures from, basically, they belong in a different level. They don't go anywhere outside of that. Um,
Yeah, no doubt
yeah.
about it. That when you look at the hierarchy, that he says that these monsters are just the tip of the spear. The tip of the spear are just the footmen, the foot soldiers, the pawns that
Mm.
go out there. But behind them are the rooks, the bishops, the king, the queen. If you're using a chessboard for an analogy, so we have to figure out exactly who that is and everything else. Luna, and thank you for the donation, Michael Lee. I'm going to try to find it real quick after I read this question. Again, it's going fast. Where is it? There it is. I think. Let's kill your ego. One. So don't see her super chat in here. It just highlights it. But Luna says, LMR, Teflon TV. You can call me the Don, or you can call me Tony Teflon. You have to call me by the actual channel name, but it's all right. What do you think about the ballerina music means? I did it in a video what the music was. I can't remember it right now. The most popular songs that were in those things and everything else. But what do you think about the ballerina music?
Uh, what I something that I thought about when seeing it spin like that, it's the thought I had looking at the box is that ballerina, she's going in circles, like round and around. She's not going anywhere. She's
Mhm.
doing a lot of twirling, but she's not going anywhere. It reminded me of them. They can go round and around, but they will never get out. So she's stuck in a box, like they're stuck in a box. They had their like her story is the melody, and their story is stuck again, being stuck, and that was just what I was thinking about it. As far as actual meaning to Boyd, I think it must have been some kind of something that he remembers maybe from his childhood, and because I don't know why he would be staring at it like that. Like there's nothing beautiful about it. It's not. I'm thinking that he must have recognized the melody from, and if not the melody, something in it, because he heard it. I'm pretty sure he heard it before. Like he didn't it didn't go off, and then he's like, "Oh my gosh, what is this?" He looked at it. So the box, I think, is just memories of some kind for him.
Yeah, it was definitely an alarm clock. That's it, right? Because when it stops is when
Mhm.
the creature they come back. It
Yeah.
stops, so that means they did come back, and they're
Mhm.
the ones who probably booted him out and put him back in the time period that he was at. I think they want him out there. I think because they killed Martin, because
Mm.
Martin just croaks over, peels over,
Right?
and dies.
He
Right?
just
So it's not
yeah.
like he lost a lot of blood all of a sudden. He just died. He's been bleeding.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
had blood on his arm. So it wasn't like all of a sudden blood came out of his
Mhm.
body and he died. He keeled over because these guys who are in control are in the
Yeah.
fourth dimension. And you
Mm.
can't see anything from the fourth dimension when you're in the third dimension, but you can affect everything in the third dimension if you're in the fourth dimension. So they killed him and then they pushed Boyd out back to where he was and everything else.
Mm.
That's the way it works. All right, we got this one from you. It's pronounced Mika. I'm so sorry. I have friends named Mika.
Mm.
I said Micah, didn't I? I said Micah, right? That's what I said.
I think so.
I did say Micah. I am so sorry, my lady, for saying that. I will make sure that I pronounce it Mika from now on. And I have friends named Mika too. And that's the way for me. How do you become a member? So you just go on the channel, right? And if you go to the main page of my channel, it should be a suggestion that says subscribe, and one of will be say become a member. I can't make any new emojis until I get more members. They have a cap on emojis that you can make until you reach certain membership. So if you want to become a member, please do. I think it's like $1 a month. And if you're gonna
Mm.
super chat me and give me a super chat, I truly appreciate it. I'm not telling you not to, but you can gift memberships to people, right? So if you're gonna
Mm.
super chat me $10, you could give 10 memberships out to 10 people in the chat and make them members for a month. That still the money would still come to me. Well, part of it will come to me, the rest of it, part will go to YouTube, but people will then become members too. And you could help out the whole community, right? So if you want to do that, that would be a great thing. And Ruth's YouTube has become a member. Thank you so much, Ruth. I truly appreciate it. And we have another theory here. Let's take a look at this theory. This is from Squash Me Design. Is Victor the only person not infected by the higher powers because he's the only person eating food from the people who come from town? Listen, that could be right. Listen, he's the guy
Hmm.
eating peaches. They're canned up. He's not eating that town food.
Yeah.
So maybe Victor. Listen,
Hmm.
I'm gonna put a video out about this very soon. I'm probably Saturday after I have Victor on. This could all be a bluff with Victor. It could all be a bluff. It could be a Shutter Island situation. You ever see the movie Shutter Island?
I think so. It sounds very familiar.
He was
With
an
yeah,
hero,
yeah, yep,
you
yep.
know, where
Oh
he was
yeah,
acting like he was a cop,
yes,
but
yep, yep.
in the end, he
Very
was just
powerful movie. Yeah,
he was a maniac. It could be a
yeah.
situation like that. It could be a situation like what's that? The Score, where Margarita, thank you for subscribing. The Score, where was that he acted like he was had mental challenges. Edward Norton to
Mm.
get the score, he acted like he had. You know, and then really he wasn't that. It could be a Kaiser Sose situation when dealing with the usual suspects. That Victor could be faking this whole thing, and
Mm.
he could be in charge of this and playing like he's acting like that, and in charge of this whole situation. It could
I
be
just
going.
wonder if he why he would be so afraid in there. I mean, he wasn't afraid of the monsters, but all of a sudden he got really spooked by whatever was in there. Like he just stopped. So I'm not sure if he's in charge, or maybe he's not. Maybe he's not fully aware that he's playing a part in there, and they're manipulating him into doing stuff because they know in a way that he may be harmless. It's not like he's trying to get out. He's just drawing
It
and
could be
eating
all.
peaches.
It could be all game. This peach
Mm.
eating bastard. Well, we're gonna. I'm talking about the character, not the actor. The actor will be here on Friday, so
And he's playing such. I
he's
love all
doing a
the
great job.
actors there. They're doing such a great job portraying those characters. I'm completely convinced that they are who they are. They're playing it so well.
Because I said so. My theory again is that that this dude, the guy who played with the mannequin, used to or Gwen Thomas became a member. Thank you so much. Uh, he was the one that he was the one playing with Victor, and he wound up killing people, and that's what hurt Victor's feelings so bad, and that's why it's so
Mm.
dramatic, because he's seen someone that he actually cared about become a vicious killer, and
Mm.
that's what I think possibly could have happened. That's only because there had to be something traumatic that stuck with him and everything else with it. But in the end, it could be Victor, could be running game on people. I've seen it before, but we'll talk about that. I'm gonna ask him in a roundabout way. He's not gonna answer, but we're gonna ask him. May Kent says, "What do both of you think could be worse than the monsters? What is worse than the monsters?"
At least with monsters, you have a chance to run. Like if you are chained up and being experimented on, and you're stuck, and you're trapped in. I mean, they're trapped, right? But they can walk around, and they can have the reality of having a normal life for a moment. But if you're stuck in a room being experimented on, different things being done to you psychologically, being stuck in some kind of other loop of some kind, shorter loop, that is messed up. So there are worse things than being killed and running away from monsters. It's the fact of, let's say, not being able to die and being tortured. Like once they die, normally you would think that you have a release from pain and whatnot. But if they have them stuck, if the body is just like a vessel and they are keeping their mind, that would be terrifying. You cannot escape the pain in that way. There's no freedom. So that there's worse stuff than monsters, I think.
I think number one thing worse than monsters, human beings. Human beings are more
Mm.
scary than any monster you can ever think of. Anything you can think of. You could say, oh, vampires, they come out here, they bite you and they eat you. Werewolves come out at night and they howl at the moon and they kill you. Anything you think of. A human being is worse. Human beings.
Mm.
Make a nuclear bomb and kill 500,000 people
Mhm.
with a drop of a hat. Right? You don't
And there's
see
no way to escape.
yeah, there's
You're
nothing
there.
you can do.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with you. And they just do it. And your body
Hmm.
incinerates, and that's it. There's nothing more scarier than human beings. Human beings are the biggest monster of them all. And that's why I think when they're saying that, that's what they're talking about. It's humans that are controlling this
Hmm.
whole situation. There's a good chance that the other people that are captured in this situation are aliens that are captured in this situation. And human beings have captured aliens, and they're running experiments with their blood and stuff like that, and their technology, and they are the bad people in there. That's what I think.
Hmm.
Gwen Thomas, thank you for becoming a member. Truly appreciate you becoming a member. But that's what I think. I think when you look at what's it going to be, it's going to be humans. Even when you look like The Walking Dead, right? They look at you and you see the monsters in The Walking Dead, but the true monsters are the humans and the way they're
Yeah.
reacting. They're treating people that are in
Yep.
that situation. When you look at The Last of Us, right? You see if you ever watched that, you see all the monsters out there and the clickers and everything else, but they're not the true bad guys. The true bad guys in this thing are the people who are treating people badly, taking advantage of the situation that they're in. So I
Yep.
always think that it's us. We eat anything. There's nothing that if we can eat it and not die, we eat it. It's it. We eat anything on the planet.
Yeah.
A
We'll
human being
consume
has
it. Yeah.
tasted
Use it up. Yeah.
it doesn't matter what it is. We'll use every natural resource.
Yep.
We don't care if it makes animals that stink. We have extinct whole animals.
Yeah.
We have extinct. The Native Americans were almost wiped out. They tried to wipe out Jewish people. They don't care. Human beings will do genocide. In Africa, they have done genocide. They have cut off clitorises of women that just for no reasons at all, just to do it. So when I look at it and it says who is more scarier than the monsters, and Donna said it, which is proof that what I'm saying is truth, because Donna said it. She said, at least here you can see the monsters and you know what they are. In the real world, you can't see them at all.
That is very true.
I'm going to use that in the video, God damn it now. I'm going to use that in the video to prove at this point, because that's true. These things help me flesh out videos. I really do appreciate it. Phil the Issues guy is in the corridor waiting for us right there and everything else. So we're going to he'll be here in a second. He'll be dropping in here, and then we'll get to all the phone calls and everything else. Nice. You know what I mean? And I'm a human being, so don't say Tony is anti-human. Nope, I'm a human being. All right, so I can say this stuff.
It's just facts. That's the history of humankind.
There's no doubt about it.
Sad, but true.
No doubt about it. So in case people don't know about you, Almar, we have a bunch of new people here in this fandom. We have over 300 people watching, and maybe it's the first time they've ever seen them. So would you like to just introduce yourself and tell them a little bit about yourself?
Oh my gosh, I'm not sure what to say. Well, maybe you can introduce me. Right, well, you know everything about me, so
I do. This is LMR, and LMR stands for Living My Rhapsody. If you're wondering what those initials stands for, me and her have a podcast. It's called the Lady and the Don Podcast. We've been podcast partners for what, like 3-4 years now?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's flying. It's probably more than that, Tony.
Yeah,
I've known you for much longer.
Yeah, maybe longer than 4 or 5 years and stuff. Yeah. So we've been podcast partners for this long. We have covered Game of Thrones mostly and everything else, but we've done other things, this regular pop culture stuff we did and everything. And we've done true crime podcasts together and everything else. We did the Aaron Hernandez case. We've done a lot of things like that together. And she was covering From. Last year, if you came around, it was me and her doing the From coverage. Then she got a job. She's a psychologist by nature, and she got a new job, and she had to go and work her job.
Yeah, it's difficult.
And she just wasn't able to do this anymore. But while she was doing that, Phil decided that I asked Phil if he would join in with me, and Phil has been in here not covering for her, because now Phil is part of the show.
Yes, he's not. He doesn't cover.
No, there's no cover.
Yeah, I'm so glad he's gonna be here. I didn't know. I was expecting. There he is. Oh my gosh.
I like covering. I mean, I don't mind being a cover guy. That works fine for me. And
it is not a cover.
I was waiting to jump in as I was listening to you guys. Catching up on my favorite podcast, The Lady and the Don.
And I love listening to you both. Like when I could not join, but whenever I do catch it up, like try after work, I worked horrible hours. Like it's like 12, 14 hours. Sometimes I'm exhausted. But whenever I can, I do rewatch your stuff and watch it. So I love listening to both of you. It's always a pleasure.
Now, Tony, before we get started, as there's been some requests for the chat, what you need to go to the live page, where the video is listed on. Click on the actual video to edit it. Go to customization, and then
it's a live page like that. It's playing right here.
It has like the live video manager page, the regular that lists when the videos you're live. What you want to do is edit the actual video that's streaming on YouTube.
It says edit video. Click the edit video.
Yeah, and then click on customization option, and it should be in that menu.
All right, let me see. All right, I see it there. And live chat, replay. Anyone subscribers. Oh, this is where you can only put members can talk here, huh?
That's where you can do all your chat settings. If you save there, it will change.
All right. We'll do that. So slow mode is what it is where you click that, right?
Yep.
60 seconds is good.
I believe I've only done slow mode a couple of times, but I think that should do it.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, slow mode is on. Yes. Send a message every minute.
All right, I told you I had to get Phil here. He knew how to do that stuff. I don't know how to do that stuff. I'm just here. I'm just a comedian.
Yeah, we may want to change that. I think that what that means is everyone can only send one message each minute, so we may want to change that to 30 seconds at some point. But
is that what that means?
I think, but I don't know. People tell me.
Chat can tell us.
Yeah, let me know.
Let me know if it's only allowing you to send one message every 30 minutes. You know what I mean? But
if that's the case, we'll change it to 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'll change it 30, 20 seconds or whatever it is. That's just the default is that and everything else. So everybody else in there. Selena, thank you for becoming anything for us, Selena. Anything. I love Selena. I say it every time you hear me say that because I love Selena so much. I listen to her music almost every day of my life. Dead ass. And that's the truth. People are saying change it to 30 seconds. All right, I will. We'll go to 25 seconds. All right, we'll do that. 25 seconds. All right, try that out for size.
Okay.
And hopefully everything else goes. All right, that's cool. All right, everything else. We have a theory here. It says, we got super chat, so that takes precedence, obviously. Dad of 4. And listen, congratulations on being a dad of 4. That's an amazing accomplishment to being a dad of 4. I'm sure you're a fantastic father. Shout out to your whole family and your children. I believe the monsters are actually previously the people that are in control, like a hive mind, like by a hive by a mythical creature. All right,
like the Borg.
Yeah, so we're gonna leave this to Phil because he's a Star Trek expert.
I mean,
he knows all about the Borg and everything else. Do you feel that it's a Borgian situation?
I don't know. It could be something like that, and I like how you use the term Borg like that, Borgian situation. It made it sound very very Nordic. So like a Borgian situation, I don't know. It could be something like that, but it does seem like at least in some way, each one of these monsters have a little bit too much individuality for something like that. I'm not saying there isn't some form of mind control that's compelling them to do whatever they, maybe outside of what their comfort zone is, maybe not. That's up for debate, obviously. But I don't think it's quite like the hive mind Borg Queen Bee kind of situation going on. I tend to think that if there are overseers, it's more than one. I don't think it's just like one person. If it is one person, it's the goddamn boy in white. It's whatever the projection of the boy in white actually is. But I tend to think it's more multiple things.
Willie, thank you for the super chat. Says Father Khatri / Victor both have shown a rock circle. All right, so Father Khatri made the rock circle. He put it in there when he buried his bag, maybe possibly to come back, and Victor drew it. I think Victor just drew a map of everything and used that as a landmark in the map. I don't think it has any more any more meaning than that. That's the landmark that he used because Father Khatri put that there. What do y'all think about that?
I don't think there's a deeper meaning to that. I don't see how it would change or do anything. What about you, Phil?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think it's just one of those coincidental type situations. Tony, are you ready for some voicemails?
I sure am.
Okay, we're going to get to the ones tonight, and then we'll try to catch up on the ones from the other evening. This is area code 416.
That is Kieran from Toronto. My theory is what Boyd, that stuff in his arm. I remember, I don't know if you guys remember, but forget that girl, the sister, Nathan,
Sarah,
who went with Boyd on that journey. She also had those things, and it was writing like words on her arm too. What if that's what Boyd has as well? Thank you for your time, and I enjoy all both you, Phil, Don Teflon, and man, I love you guys' videos. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, man. And was it the same thing, or was it a different kind of thing, like a moving tattoo, like that character in Heroes? If anyone's ever watched Heroes, when that woman could put a tattoo to her arm and it would create like psychic visions or something like that. Is it Tony, what do you think? Is it the same thing?
I will answer, but I'll let Elamar take it first because she's good. What do you think? It's the same thing or not?
When I saw that thing happening to Sarah, I thought it looked more like burns, like their scars after you get burned, or even like after the scar heals, it's raised. I don't remember it moving, but again, I didn't rewatch the episodes like that to have a proper opinion of or recollection of how it looked. And on Boyd's arm, they were just swimming around, like just going everywhere. And I don't know if they did not look the same to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same. I've looked at them both, and I played them both side by side, and it's not close to being the same. I understand why you would think it, but it's not the same. Boyd's, pause on this, but his looks more like worms, like a tadpole swimming and stuff. Hers definitely looks like the blood vessels are being raised and formed into this. It looks more like a raised rash. If you take somebody and you burn them with like a cattle prong, and then the after effects, if you ever seen people do that in college and the way it bubbles up after, it looked more like that, but red, her thing. So it's definitely different. It's not the same situation going on there, but I understand why you would think it is, but it's not. It's a different situation going on there. Again, Sarah too was never transferred blood into her body to get that.
No.
The person who's doing this to her is able to physically force her to write something to draw. She drew that picture and it hurt her while she was drawing the picture of Father Khatri. So it wasn't like he was like, all right, draw this. And she was like, woo, 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 woo. She was like, ah!
No, she was overthrown to do that. And I would say that the more apt comparison that for this point for me would be Sarah and Elgin. I think Sarah, Elgin, Abby all are being talked to or haunted by the same force, so to speak. Whatever that force is can be debatable, but I do think he's getting more that vibe and the voice and people poking at him. Maybe a little bit different. Maybe what he has is different, and he just has he's a glitch in the matrix, and he can kind of see through what's going on. But I do think it's a little bit more towards that direction than the other.
All right, Josh. Emily says Tony found the video of the creators talking about the talisman on the MGM website behind the scenes. I will take a look for it. I wish I could find it. Maybe I'll play the audio for us. We could take and figure, but that would be maybe we could play the audio to hear that.
And Bruzy, it happens once in a while. Occasionally, I do stumble upon something, but it's. Let's go to another voicemail.
Well, let me take this super chat real quick because it's here from Valco. Thank you for rocking with us. The pupils' eyes of season 2, the monsters look like cyborgs.
Interesting.
I think that the upgrade is just due to the budget being increased.
Yeah.
Again, I hearken it to, if you look at the White Walkers in Game of Thrones, in season 1, they literally look like Cookie Monster. Literally, go Google Game of Thrones White Walkers in season 1, and then you see them upgrade them every season until you got the final look of them with the Night King and everything else. But they didn't start out looking like that. Even the Night King looked different when they first showed them to the last time they showed them. So I just think it's an upgrade in the budget, and they're able to do more with it, and that's why they look different. I don't think it means anything more than that.
Star Trek's been doing that since the 60s. They did. I mean, Klingons, they tried to put a reason why the Klingons just look like dudes in beards with paint, and they were like, we don't talk about that. But basically it's the same thing. Area code 910.
What's going on? This is Fred Grace calling out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. I got a question for y'all guys, man. For you, the Don and Phil. Do y'all think there's gonna be a kind of like a Tupac and Biggie beef with Elgin and Victor? And I want to point out another thing. Did y'all notice when Elgin was sleeping in the back of the truck, when he was laying down by the map, the little arrow was pointing at his head while he was laying down? Do y'all think that'd be any kind of significant? Just let me know what y'all think.
Great call. Thank you, man.
Yeah, I'll take it first because Elmar took it. So I think that when dealing with Elgin, the thing to realize is, for one reason, Victor didn't like him right off the bat. He just said, I don't like this guy. You never seen Victor lash out or do anything about that, but for some reason, he doesn't like Elgin, right? He doesn't like him. We don't know why or anything else. That's that. Why the Tupac Biggie beef would be between him and Jade, I don't understand the connection between him and Jade. If you said him and Sarah, because they're both getting visions of him and Ethan, I could see that more. Like, no, what I'm seeing is real. No, what I'm seeing is real. You know, but Jade, I don't see the connection between him and Jade. You'd have to explain that to me. And Victor is not racist. Leave Victor alone. That's not the case at all.
I think it's interesting to think how far Victor will go with that. Is it that he can just see that Elgin's tapped into it? Did he think the same thing about Sarah when he saw Sarah? Is this just, or someone in the chat said it, so I'm stealing it, or was he not really talking? Was he talking about something else? Who knows what Victor's talking about? He could have been referring to something else necessarily, and maybe it's not Elgin that he doesn't like, but it's going to be interesting to see the way that plays out, because I do think Victor, similar to what you were saying about Jade, Tony, seeing the wrong messages can be dangerous. And someone that's looking at things through a child's perspective, but still very capable, can be very dangerous. And I think Victor could inadvertently cause some problems and be a tool to the other side, that they're just playing him to do certain things.
Elgin is important because I'm going to tell you why I know he's important. It has nothing to do with the show. It has to do with, I seen him at the premiere. He's a new character. I didn't see all the new characters at the premiere, but he was on the red carpet, walking the red carpet, snapping photos of him. All right. So I don't see everybody else out there getting photos snapped of them out there that's in the show. But he was on the red. So obviously he was invited to be there. So I do think that he is an important character and I think he's going to stick around. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's a part of the cast. So I do believe he's very important. The thing about Victor and Victor's importance is that, he wasn't the main cast member until this season. He was just like not an extra, but he was, he wasn't the main part of the main cast. So why would they do that if he was so important? It's weird for me. If he's this important, Victor, and you would think he is, because his book, maybe they planned on just killing him off. Like, all right, he drew his drawings, and now Victor's gonna die. But people like
I don't want to give the boring answer, but there is a chance it could have been budgetary reasons too, and they could only sign so many main actors, so they had to limit the amount of episodes that they could put his character in. So technically he was considered not a full-time cast member, but he still kind of was. Some shows need to do that to cut some corners with budget. So I know that's not the fun answer, but I just want to bring that up as a possibility.
Those are the best answers, because money talks.
Yep.
And so that could definitely be a part. We'll take. What's the say? I think we'll play.
We'll take another voicemail.
Let's play another voicemail.
This is from area code 202. This is a couple people texted me this. They said, "Phil, don't eat your chip because sorry, my camera is being weird right now. Don't eat your chip because some people think Tom might not really be gone." As much as I want to keep this going, keep the Tom is dirty thing going, it's time to give up.
I mean, how much is left of him? There's not much left of Tom. So
this was not the caller, by the way. This was a texter. Let me read the text just so I can get to it quick. Area code 207. Phil, don't eat the chip yet. Tom did not help with the radio tower plan. He did help with the hole in the house. He was killed. Oh, so he was killed and put on display like no other before as a message to the others, like him still in town. Maybe. Maybe he was in on the plan, but they made a scene out of him. I don't know about that. But
thank you for Strago tape shot for becoming a member. Truly appreciate it.
But sorry about that. But I have seen a few people say that they wonder where Tom's body is, if that's really Tom's body. Anyways, area code 202.
Hi, I was wondering if you can share your theories on why the monsters placed Tom's body on display.
Simple, like a message. The simple answer, just to show them, we fuck you. Like you think you've put us off for a while? Anytime, any place, we can get you.
What do you think, Elmar?
Again, this is for show, to show people, to make them fear, to make them not forget any kill they make. They don't hide it, they don't tuck it away, they stage it basically. Kill them in a gory way possible, leave the face so it's recognizable and you have that connection, emotional connection, that it's a human being without the insides and the chest ripped out. It's all for a reason, I think.
They do it all the time. So let's go through history, the history of this country. You've seen it all the time, especially world leaders and things and people who are in charge. They put the Uday and Qusay, right? Saddam Hussein's children, when they got captured by the United States and they got killed when they were in that war. What did they do? They showed both of their bodies on the slab.
Yep.
Both of them. Because they wanted to make sure everybody knew that they were dead.
Look what they did to William Wallace. They like cut, they drawn and quartered him, the Brits, and put him on display in the four corners of the country.
Yes.
It's like warning sometimes for others not to do, whoever did it and died. And this is an example. Like even a silly thing at home, I always joke whenever I had to kill a spider by myself. Like, I always joke that I leave the dead bodies of spiders so they know what's coming if they get in my way.
I never clean up a little bit of the
many
guts.
times with flies. I've killed flies and left them there. Y'all are next.
Yeah, it's a warning.
It could be the exact same thing going on. A crafty enabler, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Welcome to the family. I think it's the exact same thing. And that's what they're doing. They pulled that body out. They could have left it there and hit it. The same thing when you go with mafia hits, right? When they leave a message, they leave them in the street. When they don't want the cops to find them, they don't want, they chop them up, they bury them, cement shoes, whatever. But when they want to send a message to the family, other families, they leave them there. And they let them know this is just what you're next. It's going to happen to you. So it's the same concept with these creatures. Again, these creatures are not zombies. They're not mindless, dumb monsters. You've seen that smile monster. I told you he had some touchy-feely stuff going on, and rubbed and caressed that steering wheel like I didn't know if he was going to lick it next. Because he was all over that steering wheel.
I'm convinced he was a bus driver and he was trying to remember it by touching.
Maybe he was a bus driver. It was something going on there. I
was fascinated by it. The way I saw him touching the wheel and just sitting down. It's like a kid. Like, oh, this is neat. Let me see. How does this work? So I wasn't sure if he's actually been doing that, or this is kind of neat and interesting to him, and he wanted to see what this thing is about.
And
like, I want to know what
in the colony. Sorry, Phil. He was in the colony house with the banister. He slid his whole hand on the back. And when we interviewed him, I asked him that, and he didn't comment on it. But I did ask him that. I did say, I noticed that your character is very touchy-feely. I wanted to know if he was directed to do that, or if it was just something that he did. But after seeing this, it had to be something that he was directed to do. Because the number one thing that actor said in the video that me and Phil interviewed with him is that I take direction. Yeah. I listen and I take direction. Whatever they want me to do, I do. That's the number one thing. So I believe that anything he's doing, he's touching stuff. And if T-Baby was here, she'd be saying, stop fucking touching stuff. Shout out to my girl T-Baby from back in the day. And everything.
I just wonder what would have happened if he didn't notice those people in the back. Would he have just hung out there for a while? And like how long would he have hung out in the bus driver's seat? He would just hung out there for a while. He looked like he was getting ready to have a good time there. He felt very comfortable there.
I was waiting for him to honk the horn, like, please don't take me out of the moment. And then people look back like, and like, oh, who's that?
They could have all just started getting they should have had all the monsters just going there and just started sailing. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round.
There might be some outtakes somewhere.
They should all did it. They should all put them right in their start singing and everything.
And I wonder, do you think that people, the living people, can pretend? Like, how would monsters know that they're monsters? Like the people next, that the creatures next to them are monsters. Do they? I wonder if they know each other, or if somebody can, pretend like, "Oh, I'm a zombie," kind of thing. Just walk around like I'm one of you.
Yeah.
I wonder if they know
No,
that.
I
I
think they
mean,
know each other. I think
They
they know.
do.
I think they know that they. I mean, I don't think they're like giving people pounds and stuff. But when they were in the colony house, they were laughing together. When they
Yeah.
killed the one, they were standing up there and they were laughing, all
Mhm.
laughing together and everything else. And then that's when the
Yeah.
girl walked up on them and she seen them there when they were laughing about them. Like, you got this motherfucker to let us in. He really thought you liked him. Like they were just having a great old time laughing. And then she stumbled upon him and stuff,
And they know the townsfolk's name and information about them, so
True.
they,
Yeah. So they know them.
yeah,
Yeah.
they probably have like I
Yeah.
if we're thinking about this in a science way, they get a report. They
Yeah.
they have envelopes that they have to read on each town person and learn about them
So
inside
there's no
out.
fooling them. There's no fooling them in any
If
way.
this is bringing the same people in time after time again from alternate universes, they would know them all, man. That explains the whole
Yeah,
reason
it
why
would be like the Groundhog's Day situation. They would just learn over time of
yeah,
over and over
exactly
and over.
everything about him. They would know. Like that guy said, "Hey, Julie, you don't remember me? Why do you say you don't remember me? Because he's seen him before. When he killed her, he probably killed her. That monster probably killed an alternate universe Julie already. And I said, hey, Julie, you don't remember me? And she was like, what?
Now
that would be a reason why he did it. Even if you look at the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie in Marvel, he was saying, I killed 1,000 of you already because of the multiverse. Like I already killed 1,000 versions of you. I'll kill another one. I've killed all of you 1,000,000 times. So it could be the same exact situation. You know what I mean? That if they're bringing in people from alternate dimensions, the same person, like they need this person to perform this feat. And if that person gets killed, doesn't work, all right, bring in another one of the same person, let's start again. Bring in another one of the same person, let's start again. And it could just be that they're just repeating the cycle over until they get the result that they finally are looking for.
Now, one question I have, just because I've seen it a lot coming up recently, and it's again one of these passive questions, but how much have we seen with mobile phones? Is there no signal? Have we seen them all say we have no signal and ditch their phones? Where are the phones?
Only I would have to think that Elgin was listening to his phone on the way in.
He wasn't listening to an iPod. What year is this? He wasn't. He was listening to it on his phone.
It had to be a phone. If he had a nano in his pocket,
maybe
a shuffle. Maybe it was a shuffle.
Maybe
he had a shuffle. Or he had a Zoom.
Yeah.
Maybe. or a Napster player.
Maybe if it's sponsoring the show, maybe I don't know. If it's
I don't think that there is the connection works there, and I'm sure at some point they just gave up. They do have a way of charging them, right? Because I'm sure they have the charger cables and they can charge it now. At least they can connect to it somehow. Then the family.
Did Julie have one?
Yeah, I think I thought that they did. They said that there's no signal.
Okay, so there was a scene like that. I'm just blanking. That's
think
why I
there
wanted to ask
was.
you guys. I don't remember.
That might be a faulty memory, though. I don't know. I think
they would be able to block any Wi-Fi signal going out. That would be easy for them to block. The radio signal is hard to block.
Yeah.
That's a different type of signal. So maybe that's the case. Maybe that's what's going on. You know what I mean? They can block that out, but there's just no way to block
maybe I've seen too much Gilligan's Island. I just want Jade to get all the phones and break them apart and create some, invention to help the situation. Like give him technology and let him go all Tony Stark on the situation. But maybe I'm thinking too fictitious, too fantasy oriented. But
yeah, I say, as Sean says, no cell towers. You go to spots, you don't get service. It's pretty easy to block service out for a phone. Radio towers is different. Radio signals, you can beam that across the galaxy. Right.
And as long as as far as the chargers are concerned, now they have a way of charging. Meaning, like before, the outlets were not correct, but didn't they connect a hairdryer modern
Yes.
hair dryer because they're able to splice the cables and just like shove them into the light bulb or something, that outlet. So they do have a way of doing it now. I don't think it's gonna work though. As far as signal, it's gonna charge, but they won't. They may play their games on the phone, but I don't think it's gonna reach anywhere. Because if
Right.
it if there was a possibility for that, they would already be able to do it in RV back then.
Yep.
So people are asking me to ask you in the chat is saying, Ginger or Marianne?
Marianne.
You like Marianne better?
I think so.
See, I'm a Ginger guy. I'm a Ginger guy. I like the girl next door, Marianne, but Ginger is just
I think it's
the
individual.
Marilyn
For
Monroe
me,
sexiness is just too
for
much.
me, I agree with you, Tony. But for me, with the two of them, it's Marianne. It's not necessarily about the girl next door versus the movie star. It's out of the two of them, I just like the actress that plays Ginger better.
There was two actresses that played Ginger, right? Was it two different ones?
No, I think it was the
Or
same
was it
one.
one?
Maybe in the later, maybe in like the remakes when they returned to Gilligan.
Marianne's gorgeous, but I mean, Ginger is just sex. It's a different type. It's a sexy level. You know what I
Mrs.
mean?
Howell. Mrs. Howell's a great answer. On the other side, it's easy. It's the professor, right? Most people are going to pick the professor for
That's
right, Elamar?
that's the only option they got.
Yeah,
Elamar.
you're not picking Gilligan or the
Oh my gosh! Actually, I don't. I'm trying to picture the actors. If I can recall them now, they must not have been very memorable. So I guess nobody.
No, it's the professor. It's the professor, 100%.
All right. Super chat from Dion Services. I'm convinced that Martin is dead and will be communicating with Boyd through the worms in his arms. That's not, I
Interesting.
I know it's very interesting. I don't see how it's possible. I think that they said specifically when this music stops, they come back. And when it stopped, he said, we're too late. And it was his last ditch effort because he knew he was going to die when they came back for what he did. And that was probably pulling Boyd out the well. They probably wanted to keep him down there. And he knew they were going to kill him. And his last ditch effort was, here, take my blood. And then they killed him. So I think he's gone.
I do wonder how the rope got there because he was.
There's no explanation for this.
Yeah.
I was asking about that on Sunday too. I was going on about the rope a little bit. Yeah,
There's no explanation for this rope. There's no way he could have did it unless there's somebody else in the room and they threw it down.
Mine.
There's nothing. If it's mine, then why did he choke himself with the rope?
Because maybe he can't kill himself. Maybe he isn't allowed. Part of their torture on him is he doesn't have the ability to kill himself.
I mean, yeah, if he had telekinesis and dropped the rope down, then he could do that.
Yeah, I'm reaching. I'm hurting my back because I'm reaching so much. Right
and
now.
his toenails are long, but they weren't that long. He could have reached over there.
Tony, I've seen some long ass toenails.
And how did he stand up all that time? Didn't he say he's been there for years? Like I would have. It's just standing, locking your legs, like your knees, like that.
The years anymore. Couldn't even count the years. It's been so long that he's been there.
So, but in fairness, I think like 2 months, I'd think it was like 20 years hanging up like that. But realistically, it was probably 10 plus years, I'm guessing. Like at least 10 plus years. Anyways, let's get to another voicemail. This is area code 773. This is a longer one, so definitely ask me to stop if you guys want me to answer part of the question. Let's go.
What's up, suspects? Lamar, it's just Jade 2G 773. Quick question: what kind of device was Elgin listening to this so-called music on, and why is he the only one with any kind of handheld device? And I don't think they even showed his phone or his iPod or whatever it was that he was listening to. I don't think it's real interesting that nobody's just popped up and said, "Hey, where's my cell phone? Is it working?"
I should have played. This is my bad. Awesome call, but I should have played this before we had that conversation. We basically just talked about that entire conversation. And I guess I was sort of with you on this one to a certain extent, but Julie has shown to have her phone, so they're just yada-yadaing it. They don't necessarily have to show us that all the phones are sitting in a big pile in Father Caudry's office or something. You know, it doesn't. It doesn't. I guess it doesn't matter. They don't work. And but to Elamar's point, we might see them moving forward now that they have power, playing games on them or doing some local Jade hooking up a local network so they can communicate with each other or something. You know, they could do something like that maybe. Anyways, this is area code 305.
Hey guys, it's Mika Lee from Key Largo. Hope everybody's well. Listen, I think that Jade and Victor are brothers. I think this because of the connection with the, him seeing the symbols and drawing in the book, and Victor seeing the doll and Jade seeing the doll. They kind of look a little bit alike also, and somehow I truly believe there's a connection with that. I haven't seen anybody else say that, so this is my theory. Thanks for having me on. I'm really too obsessed with your show, but I'm really enjoying being a part of this. So you guys have a great night.
That was a great call. And I don't know if I agree with you about thinking that there's brothers, but I do think they could possibly have a connection in the sense of they're two. I don't know. They're two people that go very much on instinct. I don't know. What do you think, Elamar? Do you think there's anything to Victor and Jade possibly being brothers?
I don't think they're brothers, or I don't think they're related. I think when Jade was mentioning somebody who died, that he was grieving for, he didn't mention anything about. At least I don't remember him mentioning anything about siblings. And even say if he had a brother by name of Victor, the idea of like, wow, I had a brother named Victor kind of thing, like he would be your age kind of thing, like,
Yeah.
So I don't think that was the case. And again, I'm not sure about Victor says something about his mother, that he was there with his mother. And I don't remember what Jade said. Like, was it his grandma who raised him? So there may be something if his mother went missing, but I don't know if it would line up time-wise. Victor is quite older, so I wonder what would be the point of them being brothers if, in case they were brothers, like why?
Yeah. Good night, TJ. Thanks for rocking with us, bro. Hope to see you on Friday. And so I would say that when dealing with them being brothers, it's not a chance. It doesn't. Number one, I don't see how it helps the story, them being brothers. Number two, the situation that they're being brought up because of the connection that they have is not a connection. Jade's seeing a symbol. Victor is in the picture with a guy that's seeing the same exact symbols. So he thinks that Victor knows that this guy might have told Victor, hey, that I was seeing these things and what they are. I've explained this whole thing in my last video. So if you just go watch my last video, then you'll be able to see all that situation and everything else, why I think that connection is there. But it's not a blood connection. It's not them that they're down with each other and everything else. So they're related and they're brother. I heard people tell me Elgin's related to Boyd. Why? Because he's black. No, he's not. Boyd pulled the gun on him fast. It's like, yo,
I will shoot. You a monster? I mean, yeah, that could have. They need
the only connection we have is Chrissy and her girl. That was the connection on the bus. Everyone else is strangers.
Yeah. This is from the Voice at 916.
Oh, yes.
Voice at 916. Hello, LMR. It's good to see you again. Hi, Tony. Hi, Phil. I have a couple of comments and questions. It seems like the communication is a big issue. Whoever's in charge of all this, they're communicating to various members in different ways. We obviously have folks that are more psychic sensitive, like Elgin, who receives messages through his dreams, Abby as well through her dreams. Sarah seems to hear the voices, and also she can be touched, as seen with the uprise messages she gets on her arms. And Ethan sees the boy in white. Now, these are various forms of communication with psychic sensitive people. And for those people who are not, the communication is coming through the jukebox, through the music, which really surprises me that nobody has made any kind of connection. And even though it's really weird that all of a sudden this thing will activate and have a song, nobody seems to put two and two together like, that seems to be fitting the situation. What's up with that? Also, in regards to communications, there are so many people there, and even before the newcomers came, I can't figure out why they haven't all got together and just shared ideas about, well, what's going on? Why is this happening? What can we do about it? Everybody must have an opinion about what's going on and what's happening to them and how they can fight and get out of there. I don't understand that. It's so weird. And lastly, the worms that have infected or invaded Boyd's body. Those worms don't seem to actually be swimming through blood vessels. It's too random in the way they're moving. It seems as if it's just under the skin, like, if a bug or a nano bug got under your skin, how it would move freely and navigate through the skin.
Nanobug, yes.
And I'm wondering, will those worms start moving throughout his body or just stay located on its skin? Anyway, those are my quick little thoughts, and thank you for taking this message. And it is so wonderful to see how the channel and the chat has grown. It's exciting. Tony, you are the man. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
I need to get a soundtrack when she talks. Like, we need to play like a song like this. Yeah.
No, she needs a better song than that.
Yeah, we
It
need-
was-
I was just going to say.
I just picked a random loop. What I picked was a song that wouldn't be flagged.
Yeah, it has to be. She needs a Luther Vandross,
Beautiful voice.
a Teddy
So soothing.
Pendergrass.
Yeah,
she needs a Barry White.
We need to find
some Motown in there.
We need to find an independent artist that gives us rights to use the song.
Yeah, it needs a Motown type situation dealing with.
Thank you, Say. I would love to play you on the track. Or we need Carla Wayne to do a track.
Oh, Carla Wayne, it had to be something like that. You know,
yeah, a cover or something. Yeah.
Something sexy like a Sade smooth operator type situation we need for her. All right, let's go through what she says. She's talking about the nanites. Let's talk about that. Is it possible that these aren't just worms, that it's technology? It's nanites. It's little micro bugs that are really computers underneath the arm. What do you think about that, Phil, and Lamar?
I absolutely think I agree 100%. It's a possibility in what she was saying, the way they were moving. I don't know if you chalk that up to the effect itself or whatever. It looked not organic to me, but I'd have to get another see. I've only watched it twice so far. I'd have to look at it even more clearly, but it definitely seems like it could be a possibility.
What I thought about is the first thought I had is, how are those things moving and how painful it must be.
Ooh.
They look like they're right under the skin, and we know like there's it's the skin doesn't just like flap on the muscle. There's connective tissue there. It's you can pull it slightly, but it doesn't come off your muscle. So those what I'm saying creatures, the things that are moving, bloodworms, are moving around and like ripping through all that stuff. So that what they did to his arm, for me, the idea of pain, that's just terrible. So I wonder how real all this is, because it looked really painful to just move around freely, and there was no bruising, no nothing. So I wonder, first of all, how real is it at this point? Like, are there real bodies? Are they in real bodies to feel that? And the second thing is like, organic versus nanotechnology. I wonder if something living can be controlled by something like that's being I don't know what to call it, that's being controlled, like something living in there but being controlled, so they don't just move around freely. They're moving where they're supposed to move. So yeah.
I would say that
Part
so
of a power.
let me Unicorn One says, saying to the super chat says, do you think that Victor knows what the parasites are since he drew a jar of them next to the dummy? I don't know if it's a jar of the parasites itself. He did draw a jar next to the dummy, but I don't know. We can say definitively that there's worms inside that
Tony,
jar.
I want to piggyback on that to ask you a bigger question. Do you think Victor has any understanding of what he draws, or what he draws is just sort of an automatic response that comes to him and he instinctually draws it?
He's saying that he's drawing what he's seen. Now he's not saying whether he's seen it in this time or anything else, because he says, you know, that he forgets, but the pictures remember, and that's why he draws it. And what's that? Fat Love, Faye Love, Faye Love. Thank you for the super chat. And truly, I don't think there's a question on it, but thank you so much for it. Truly appreciate it.
850.
Hi, this is Charla. I'm calling from Pensacola, Florida, where people
Pensacola in the house
and leave on probation.
I gotta rewind it. I missed. I'm so
for vacation and leave on probation.
She's on probation.
People come for vacation and leave on probation. Oh, that's good.
I thought she said I'm calling them on probation. I gotta get off the phone real quick.
I'm not allowed to call in podcasts as part of my probation.
I got this ankle monitor right now. Let me just get this.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to listen to podcasts. I don't know what Phil's doing off camera. Okay, area code 850.
Carla, I'm calling from Pensacola, Florida, where people come for vacation and leave on probation. My comment was, I noticed that no one on the bus seemed to have a cell phone. They were stuck in a new place where things were happening. Nobody pulled out a cell phone to try to get a signal or call 911 or even take any pictures or even check the time. When they were looking for the time, they looked down at their wrists and they had on watches, which in today's world, most times, you know, people, they'll look at their cell phones for time. It just seemed like no one had a cell phone. I know Elgin had earbuds, but you didn't see what they were connected to. So you didn't see any cell phones. And also their clothes looked a little dated. Their clothes almost looked like they were from the 90s or something. Just wanted to bring that up. All right, take care.
I swear, if there was a Game Boy with someone playing Tetris, I would be on board with you. But I'm not sure. But interesting call. What do you guys think?
It's not believable that none of them have cell phones. They all have to have.
Yeah, they all came.
Everyone's got one, so it has to be that they're just not working where they're at. There's no other way to sign it. Just to say that no one on that bus got on with a cell phone, it's unbelievable in this modern day and age that would be the case. So the only way it works is that they're just in a spot where you can't get any reception.
Yep.
And that would that's just what it'd be. As for Pensacola, Florida, that is the home of the greatest boxer of our generation, Roy Jones Jr. And I bagged his girlfriend up and he don't like me.
Tony, this podcast is getting a lot of views. You know, you don't want Roy hearing this. You know,
he knows. I'm fleet of foot.
You'll run away. It's area code 513. I know you're not afraid of many people, but I'm sure he's one of the few.
No, I'm a grown man with a pistol permit. I ain't afraid of nobody.
Area code 512. I keep wanting to ask you more, Roy Jones. Would you step in the ring with Roy at this point right now? If you want to...
I mean, no.
No, Phil. Next question.
No, give him 10 more years, then I will.
He'll still be fighting, Tony. He'll still be fighting. Area code
10 more years, and I got him.
Area code 512.
Hey, Prometheus from Leander, Texas. I just want to say you guys have a great show. You guys have been doing it from the beginning, and I've been here from the beginning. It's just awesome. I've checked out a lot of other channels, but no one really breaks it down like you guys do. So really grateful. Okay, I'll be quick. A couple of things. One, I think Sarah is one of them. I think they really threw us off in getting us to kind of forget about Sarah. We forgot about, Sarah so much as all these new things are going on. So Sarah is definitely one of them.
let's stop
Martin is
right
also
there real
one of
quick.
them, and Boyd will.
Let me stop right there. So she's saying definitely one of them. Do you think Sarah's? He's saying a creature, or is he saying this is one of the people holding? What does he mean by that? Is he saying that Sarah's a creature?
Okay, he says, okay, I'll be a quick with things. I think Sarah's one of them. I
One of
think
what?
they're really three. I'm guessing one of the bad
Mhm.
guys,
It's
essentially,
not
or
like a
one of the,
creature, like eating people.
or she's
They're not eating people, what?
or she's on the she's on the team. She's on the other side. She's on the
No,
Cowboys.
I can't see it being that at all.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
don't see
so.
it at all.
With a bit of a history, we find out that there was a bit of that she was saying, what was it, about her brother saving her from somewhere, from something. So she has a history outside of here. Um, I don't see. And then we see her dialogue with her brother, the way she was talking to him about getting out. So I don't know. I don't see the why they would show us the dialogue between both of them if she was part of all this.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Let's continue with the message. Area code 512.
There are so much as all these new things are going on. So Sarah is definitely one of them. Martin is also one of them, and Boyd will become one of them the same way that they are. Reminds me.
By one of them, again, I'm going to reiterate
It
what
must be a
Tony's question.
monster.
Do you mean a monster or an overlord or
He must mean a monster.
like a monster?
Yes.
A lot of Paul Hogan's book, The String. You should check those 3 books out. Also, I believe that Sarah is the one that dropped the rope. We'll see that happen.
I know it's not the same Paul Hogan, but I'm thinking Crocodile Dundee. Isn't that his name? Is that guy's name?
Also, I think we really need to look at what the creatures are. Everything with these monsters the creatures are bound in blood. The gentleman on the wall, Martin, he technically couldn't die because he's immortal. That's why he wanted to die. He wanted Boyd to kill him. He can't just die on his own because he has the parasite, the actual creature inside of him. He didn't want to give it to Boyd, but that's exactly what he did. He transferred it. Sarah also has that same exact parasite. That's how they're communicating with her. What you saw on the skin is not a burn.
Well, I don't think so. I think it might. I mean, I'll play the rest of the message, but
Yeah, but no, he's wrong on that one. In my opinion, it's not the same parasite. I pulled them both up and I watched them both exactly side by side. It's not a parasite under his skin. There's nothing swimming. It's a whole different situation. His thing is swimming around like worms, like tadpoles in the water. That's what it looks like. As for Martin being immortal because of it, I'm not going to say that. Can't be the case. It could be the case. He didn't want to give up to Boyd. He did want. He gave it to him. As soon as he said that music box came out, he said, they're back. And that's when he grabbed Boyd, and he had enough strength that Boyd couldn't break free, and Boyd said, get off me. He didn't just pull away. He couldn't pull away from him. You know what I mean? And he had to take it. So he had enough strength to do that. As for Sarah dropping down the rope, there's just not any proof at all from what we've seen that she did that. When we've seen people transported in the in the faraway tree, we have never seen 2 people go to the same spot before ever in this show. They've always gone in the same tree and gone to 2 different spots. So we have no proof and no evidence that Sarah went to the same spot that Boyd did. And if she did, why would she not just wait there for him or call down to him? Boyd, I'm up here. I'm going to get you out. Why wouldn't she do that? It just doesn't make sense to me why that would happen. So I just don't see it. And I think that, and me personally, I think she's too good looking to be one of the monsters. So they're not making a good looking one. Well, a couple of monsters are hot though, but I can't lie. A couple of cheerleader one and Jasmine looks good too.
Yes.
But Sarah looks too good to be a monster.
Soccer bomb as well. Let's continue the message.
It's not like, the marks that appeared in The Exorcist on Reagan. You see that is the actual parasites, because they're all a part of kind of a brood or a hive is what I'm seeing here. And they are absolutely 100% creatures of some sort. It is definitely not aliens. I think the only reason they really keep us on the alien thing is because we can't figure out where they are. And that's the thing. If we didn't have this time loop and where we were, we'd be able to identify the monsters a lot easier. We see a lot of things that have to do with these creatures being ancient, being from a long time, being from here, in a sense.
But what is he saying? I mean, and listen, I'm not trying, and I want you to call
That's
back.
basically the end of the
I'm not,
message.
and I'm not saying these things in this though. I don't want to say stuff, and then people, oh, I don't want to call back, and Tony Teflon shooting my stuff down and everything else like that, because that's not the case. It's not the case. I want
No, it's talk radio. Be honest.
Yeah, you know, I want explanations, because you're saying that they're from ancient times. And what proof have they shown in the show that these creatures that you're claiming that are inside of his skin are from ancient times? What have they shown us here that has shown us that? We haven't seen anything here from the show that shows us anything like that. So when you deal with it not being aliens, I can give you 15 things that point that they've shown us that show that they're aliens. 15 different things. But yet, people, you can't give me one that there's something else. There's no creatures. They're not vampires. They're not fae, in my opinion. They're not no fairies. They're not that. This is technology. This is what it is. And I do believe that technology has put these people in this situation right now. When you deal with the whole situation with the wormhole, and Jade said, when you have Jade clearly brings up 3 scientists' name when he walks in there that he's thinking of. And the 2 of the scientists that he's talking about are the ones who came up with the wormhole theory. And he just wasn't grasping it. Its show is called a sci-fi horror show.
Yep.
That's what it's classified under. Science fiction and horror, not fantasy and horror, right? And you would think if it's a fairy and things like that, if you go and look at that show, me and LMR covered it. It was on on Amazon with Orlando Bloom, and they had actual fairies in there, and they were having sex with the fairies, the prostitutes with fairies and stuff. Remember that, LMR? And they were lifting the guys up in the air and everything.
Yep,
else.
yep.
Right. That was classified as same thing. Game of Thrones. It wasn't fantasy. It's classified under fantasy. So I would think that it would be. It's definitely dealing with the government, and I believe the government has captured some alien technology and captured some aliens, and they're running tests with the aliens on these people and the technology. That's what I believe it is. I think that's Carnival Row. Thank you, Gwen. That is what it is. So I just don't see it. And not that it's not that, I don't see it. So if you can show it to me, then I'm 100% willing to get behind it on you. But you have to show it to me and everything else. And that's it. I have not seen anything that points to that. Every time someone said something about a fairy, they're taking things from 10 different fairies and then mushing them together into one being. Yeah, this fairy does this and this fairy does that, but there's not one fairy that does all of it. So you take one from this and one from this and one from that and put it together to fit the theory. And that's what it is. The only thing I go on is what the show is showing me. When I talk about the book that we've seen inside of the room of Victor, I tell you what the book is about. I'm not making up what the book is about. This is what the book's actually about. So I just think, to me, it's more of a technological situation going on here than some fantasy creatures. I don't think that, and everything else. So that's the way I see it.
Area code 613.
Hi, Tony. Hi, Phil. This is Jessie from Canada, and I want to discuss something with you. If we believe Martin when he says, I went through the tree, sometimes you get stuck, sometimes you get trapped, and that's when they get you. The only ones really using the trees consistently is the boy in white and Victor. And the boy in white and Victor have never been trapped or cut. So the boy in white has to have some control or be in charge of the trees. So therefore, is the boy in white really good or is he bad? And is Victor working for him in exchange for his survival? Because he has lived there in that town, sometimes alone as a child, with no talisman and survived. And also, the boy in white has tried to end Boyd, if we believe Martin and Talbot several times. I mean, in this episode, the dog leads Boyd right into a group of monsters. And then the boy in white also shows Victor the way into the cave. However, he does not help them out. Why would he not help them out? Most people will get lost in a cave system. And actually, Victor and Tabitha did get lost until they saw the water. And also the Boyd in white tells Sarah to go through the tree, but Sarah puts Boyd first, and Boyd ends up in the most dangerous place in the entire game. And even in season 1, when the dogs lead Boyd into the forest, close to dawn, he actually gets lost in the forest, and he has to walk for a long period of time. You can see that he only finds the cave when it's dark, so he must have been walking for quite a while before he finds the talisman. So why didn't the dogs just leave them right close to the talisman? They actually left him far away so he could get lost and be attacked at night. So it's not looking very good for the boy in white right now, if we believe what Martin is saying about the tree. Thank you very much, and I love your show, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Elamar, what do you think? Is the boy in white good or evil? What's your take on this character?
So I think now, well, when we find out what happens to Boyd, because he definitely, Boyd and White told them to go into that tree. So I'm sure he knew where that thing was leading. So I think he wanted to, whatever happened to Boyd, to happen to somebody. So now, depending on if it's good or bad, that was the purpose of it, I think. So if it's a good thing, then I guess Boyd and White would not be pointing Boyd or Sarah to a place where they can get answers or help of any kind. We just need to see what happens now that this thing happened to Boyd, and if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
All right, we're dealing with a couple of things she said, so let's go through them. So she said that they took him places, and they took him to bad places. We see in episode when Victor showed Ethan the faraway tree, he claimed that the tree was random, right? Mm-hmm. You have no idea where you're going to end up. Yet we see Victor draw on the rock, put it in the tree, and wait, and knew that rock was going to fall by him so he could show Ethan what it does. But yet, right before that, he just said that you don't know where it's going to end up, but he knew it was going to end up there.
So my question for you, Tony, just to go on that, is it that it works sometimes to take you to the certain place every 9th time it sends you to somewhere random? So
it's someone's controlling these trees, because they're not trees. It's really just devices that are masquerading as trees, and someone's controlling them, and he knew that was going to come there, and that person put that there. That's that. So next she said that they put him in the cave, and I love the call. Thank you, call back. I'd love to hear from you again. Love your accent and everything else. It reminds me when I'm back home in Queens. All right, so then again, you said they put him in the cave, and the only reason they found their way out was because the water flowed out. So that's not what. That is how they found their way out. But what was important was the water itself. You hear Tabitha specifically say, where is this water coming from? All right? Because there should be no water coming from where they were at. It flows out of that hole. So what they're trying to tell you there is that they're going to flood the whole town. And this is how they flood the town. There's pipe system of water underneath. And they use that, they flood it out there, it comes out of that hole, and that's how they're going to flood this town. We've seen pictures that Victor has drawn of floods and everything else. You've seen the spider with big raindrops. That's how the water comes out. It's going to come out of that hole, and it's going to flood the town. And even when you look at the children that were in the cage that was captured, the one with the broken nose, that girl's hair was wet. She was pale white, and she was wet. The one that Tabitha seen in her mind, because that girl was not really there. She's seen it in her mind. But she was pale white, and her hair was wet. Like she was already flooded and killed and drowned in that whole situation. So that is what I think that truly is mentioning, and that's what's going to happen. I think when they get too close to figuring out what's going to happen, they say, all right, fuck it, let's kill everybody off and start all over again, and bring in new people, the same people from an alternate universe. And that's how it keeps going over and over again. And I think that's why it's going to go down there.
Tony, in the chat, we have Andrew Sampson, who is, hello, Andrew from New Zealand here feel the monsters are like androids. They're controlled by a higher power.
I wanted to think they were androids, and I do believe. I want to think they are. I really do. It's hard for me to get there, but I do want to think there's some type of Terminator type monster. In fact, if you look at my video that I put out that's Jade's fault, I used a picture of the Terminator monster on the video because I want to think that that's the case, but I can't prove it right now.
Area code 517.
Hey, what's up, squad? This is Nate from Charlotte, North Carolina. Just wanted to chime in on the topic you had earlier about the horrification of the victims and the town residents. I think the manner in which the creatures terrify and horrify the victims is to generate as much fear in them as possible.
I'm thinking
and it reminds me of the storyline in Dr. Sleep, the Shining sequel based on Dr. King's books, or not Dr. King, but Stephen King's books. I'm thinking maybe the more fear that is present at the time that they die, the more enriched the organs are. I'm thinking it has something to do with the organs that are always missing, always carved out of the body, no organs left. Maybe that has something to do with it. Anyway, that's just my thought. You guys doing a great job. Have a good night. Thank you.
I'm glad that a lot of you people are now starting to come around to the Don Tony Teflon and saying that these monsters are not eating people. Glad you are all coming around. A lot of you are. A lot of people in Chicago said they're not eating these people. They're not. There's no proof of them eating these people whatsoever. All we see is that the organs are gone.
Yep.
That's it. We don't know anything else. The rib cage is ripped open so they can get to them, and the organs are gone. And that's all we see, and that's it. That's all I could truly say about that situation. That I'm glad a lot of you are coming around to that understanding. You're on the right track.
Yeah, and definitely the fear changes, I guess, what's in the muscle, what's in the tissue. So it's being flooded with whatever it is, the fear. I'm not sure. I forgot what the fear is.
Right? Stress. It would be stress, because I heard that stress can actually affect like cattle. That if cattle have too much stress in their meat and then they slaughter them. That's why in Hebrew, when there's Hebrew beef has to be slaughtered a certain way. It has to be prayed upon.
You have to be happy.
Yeah, you have to pray.
Like
If you bring in a rabbi, the rabbi does a prayer, and there's a special way that the animal is actually slaughtered to prevent the stress, because they say stress goes into the meat, and then you eat the meat and you inhale the stress inside of it, and it messes with your body. So that's why we have Hebrew meat. And the only reason I know this because I know someone who has a slaughterhouse up here where I'm at, and he has a rabbi. He's the only he services all Hebrew foods and everything else, and I've watched them actually do it. So I know that that's the technique, and that's the reason why they do it. So it could be a situation like that and everything else.
Yeah, you have to get the meat just the right way.
I wonder if it's the same thing with different. Now I'm gonna rethink like eating eggs. I have to have like
like
at this point, like cage free and the happy chickens. Happy chickens.
Yeah, I don't know if it matters, but the egg whites taste better in the happy chicken. So
real quick, we'll take this one real quick. Theory right here says from Squash. Me Design says the creatures are forced to harvest organs in order to continue their human form. What do you think? Is that what gets them in human form? I can't say that that's not the case, because we see them. You see how Shorty looks behind me right now. Could it be eating the organs that gets her the human form by eating it?
It's like death becomes her or something, where you have to like absorb younger people, or like Ra's al Ghul, where he has to like have daughters so he can like suck their life force out somehow, and they need to harvest off these people to keep their faces on. I think that's interesting. That's I can't say for sure that's not the case. That could definitely be in the discussion. How about you, Elmar? What do you?
And the cat, it's a LMR is very hot. She is.
Well, thank you. As far as them like looking at the picture behind you, Tony, I wonder if on her legs is that dirt or are those
That is
veins?
varicose veins.
Veins. So
The
yeah.
worst varicose veins you've ever seen in your life.
Wow. And
Ain't
then
no
the
legs are
face,
getting
I
that.
wonder, so the face that is on her, this is her resting face, I guess,
This is
sleeping
her. This is the resting bitch face. The resting.
right? Right? And then
Resting
the
murder face.
and I wonder why they have faces like that, but when they sleep, why aren't they sleeping being monsters like throughout the entire body as a monster? Why is just their face a monster and then when they go out, they change their face to match their body? I'm just wondering, what
So
that is about.
we talked a little bit about this before, and we think that if their idea is to and they're walking up on people and they're not running and chasing them down, they have to have a disguise. Like when we
Mm.
seen in this last episode, right? They came over and the guy from the bus actually shook hands with them, right?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
shook hands with it. He put his hand out. He shook his hands. Interracial couple, actually. And black man, you let me down with that one, bro. But he goes in, he shakes hands with them, and then they kill him right after. That's when Fatima's inside there with Ellis, and she's trying to go around the back to get him out and everything else. But let's talk about that real quick. We haven't had a chance to talk. It's over 2 hours. We're going to stop in a little bit, but we'll give it a half an hour more because we usually don't go over this, but we'll go a little bit longer. But everyone seems to still be here and happy to be here, so we'll go longer. With Fatima, her breaking down, LMR, we've never seen her react to that. We've always seen her, do you think it's the stress of the marriage that she's got, or is it actually
I gotta say, when I saw her, everybody has their breaking point. Like I was mentioning you mentioned my job, like how busy I am, and I'm like at the point where I'm like I'm so tired, and I'm usually very calm person and all that, but I can just see myself snapping one time, like really snapping. There's a limit to everybody, and I think she reached her limit. She wants to have to create I guess have like to just for people to be happy. She wants to help people. She's so great with that. But seeing all this gore and death and helplessness, that's the thing. She wanted to help. She couldn't. She couldn't do anything. And at that point, I can see her completely losing it um, because she cannot do what she wants to do as far as helping them. So yeah, she just lost it, and
just lost
it
it?
may just get worse for her right now.
Because it seemed like he on one scene, it looked like he grabbed her by her neck to hold her back. Like he was like, "Yo, you're not going out there." And he like put his hand up like by her neck, like, "Yo, what are you doing?" And then, but what I liked about it was when she put the middle fingers up to him, was like, "Fuck you," you know what I mean? She was like, "Fuck you," "Fuck you." Like I think they need more of that "fuck you." And it's got to get to a point where you're done with these people. Like you're done living like this. You're done doing all of these things and everything else. And
Yeah.
I seen the L real quick, Phil. And I'm gonna say this. I don't know if I should say this on the thing, but I want to say, sorry, LMR. I know you went through a traumatic situation recently
Yeah.
in your household and everything else, and I had a chance to say it to you publicly and stuff like that.
Oh,
My
thank you. I appreciate
condolences
it.
and everything else to you and all that stuff. When I seen the L, it reminded me of the name. So
Yeah.
I hope everyone in your house
Mhm.
is doing good.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, you gonna say something, Phil?
My wonder with Fatima though, or like the thing with that is, I agree with you, Tony. If it's controlled, if it's organized, using that to focus in, if it's putting you on tilt, being on tilt is never a good thing in a situation like this. She was ready to be out there. Those monsters, we talked about this in the last stream too. Those monsters were on her. If they had chose to reach, like they got Father Cadre, she was dead. Maybe Ellis too. She would have got both of them killed. That's not good. Having the fuck you rage is good if you direct that in an organized manner. So if she's getting that way because she's getting that way and like enough of that shit, that's awesome. And I agree with you. But if it's the monsters are getting to her, that's the game they're playing and they're fucking winning, because it's just another way to get that door open. It's just whatever they need to do. If they need to get her like that, that's the way to get her to act stupid. And I think in that case, monsters beat her there. But I agree with you. I like the spirit. It was just directed in the wrong way. She let them get to her. And
I believe that, it would have turned really fast, right? Because you can scream, fuck you, and bang on a window. But if that window would have broken, oh shit.
Tony, even a fraction, if you just see a little crack, oh, hi, kitty.
Yeah,
if you just crack something, it's just like.
It would have been a whole different. Yeah, fuck you. Oh shit, I didn't mean that, yo. I didn't mean fuck you.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's the carelessness, like it's the losing, like being angry, and like you said, Phil, like channeling it properly, being like angry and calm. That's great, but being angry and just kind of losing it, that can cause so many issues. But again, people sometimes don't have control over it. It's a reaction. It's you can always
can't cut off your nose to spite your face, right? That's the saying. I think that fits there, and you can't get over too mad and destroy it. So I'm going to say this: we're still going, and we're going to keep going until they tell me not to. But we're going to go on and stuff like that. But I'll say we got Victor. In case no one just came in and don't realize, Friday 7:15 p.m. this Friday we have Victor on the Escaping From podcast. We'll be going over the whole episode and everything. We'll have him on. And I'm gonna I do these streams and I invite everyone to come in and comment and everything else, but because these actors are on these streams and stuff, I'm going to have and I don't want you to get mad at me about it, but it's the chat. In order to communicate in the chat when Victor is here and other actors when I do it, we're gonna have to go to a subscriber only chat. All right, so if you're gonna want to ask him a question or do anything like that, you're gonna have to be a subscriber to the channel. All right, just subscribe to the channel and everything else. And not that I want to do it and everything else, but it's just a way to make everything flow better and all that good stuff, right? So just make sure you subscribe to the channel, so that way you can ask him a question when he's here and everything else. Because I want to give my subscribers some love for subscribing on my channel and actually being a part of it. Obviously, if you're a member, your comments and your questions and everything take precedent over it's tiers, right? You're a subscriber and you're a member, you're the highest level you can get. We'll get to everyone as much as we can, but that's what it's going to be. So make sure you subscribe to the channel before that happens, so that way we don't have to go through anything like that. I want you to be able to communicate and talk to him. It's going to be a great time. He's from Brooklyn, New York. I'm from Queens. That's how we got in contact and everything else, and that's when we set it off and everything. And me and him is pretty cool on Twitter and all that. I guess it's going to be a great time and all that good stuff. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you can come on and ask Victor. Friday, 7:15, Cinco de Mayo. We're going to be here chilling with Victor, all right? And all that good stuff.
It's going to be great to talk to Scott. Both of us got a chance to talk to him on Twitter a little bit, so it's going to be...
Will got in contact with him first.
No, he basically got in contact with us. So I'll be fair. I was going to save it for the stream, but he basically was commenting and reposting our Donna stuff, and I just on a whim sent him a message, and he was really, really awesome. And then he kept going back and forth with me for months till he could finally catch up with you to make the deal and get it done. And he really wanted to be on.
Yes, let it be known that these actors from the show be watching the show. They all watch. They know Don. They know Phil. They know Elamar. They know who we are. Donna told us straight up that they watch the channel and everything else. So,
how can they not? I mean, how could they not love you?
This is the #1 show on YouTube for the fans, by the fans, from right here. The Teflon TV. So
let's get another voice of another fan in here. We'll be on for another 20 minutes. We'll cut it to 2.5 so I can watch the end of the Celtics game and see if they can do what the Knicks did last night. Area code, because whether Tony and I are rivals, I think we both want Knicks Celtics in this next round. Area code, you're like, no, I don't want the Celtics. Bring the Sixers.
I love it.
Yeah, we need this. Tony and I need this. We've never had two of our teams go against each other. This is area code 917.
Hey, what's up? This is Jesse. Love the show. Just trying to figure out what's going on and how many layers of monsters are there. And this show reminds me of a show called Wayward Pines some years ago, and it had the same premise. that there was like a pocket universe. The people were not allowed to go past a certain distance, weren't able to leave, stuff like that. I don't know if you saw that, but it's very similar to Wayward Pines. But it's a great show, and I'd love some answers on what's really going on. But I guess it's not going to be known probably for a long time on these things. Thanks a lot. Bye.
And I just want to say one thing that I mentioned in the From group on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, make sure you join it. It's a lot of good discussions going on in there. Someone asked about that, and I saw an interview with Harold on the premiere where he was asked the question, were you worried at all about going into a show like this, knowing that some people are unhappy with the ending of Lost? And again, I know that's divisive. Some people like it. This isn't about whether it's a good, but we'll do something. I'll do something on that at a later point. But he said, before I signed up for this show, I sat down with him and I go, whether I like the end of Lost or not, I have to go to parties with people and people say to me, hey, Harold, you're on Lost. The ending sucked. I don't want to be through that experience again. So I made the creators tell me that they had an ending, explain it to me, and I wouldn't sign up for this show unless they had an ending that I was satisfied with. And I believe him. I don't think he's just going to say that shit just to promote the show. I just don't think he's that kind of performer. I mean, so I think they do have a plan. Whether everyone's going to be happy about it, we talked about this with Better Call Saul a lot. It's not if it's what you want it to be, it's is it good? And I think they at least have this fleshed out, and I think they know where they want to go with it. And there is a plan. So whatever it's worth.
I've seen people asking now saying that Boyd called the dog Gus. Did he call the dog by name?
Someone said that in one of our texts, I believe we have at some point.
I don't know if he did call a dog by name, if the dog has a name or anything else.
I think it was in the subtitles.
I don't know if he did. I would have to see that or anything else like that.
People in the live chat saying yes, he did. It was in the subtitles, right, Lauren?
Yeah. We definitely know that the dog sniffed him up and down to make sure he was human, and then was like, "All right, you're good." It seemed like that, the way the dog was sniffing at him first, and then it was like, "All right, follow me."
Yeah, everyone in the chats, or not everyone, tons of people in the chat are saying he did call the dog Gus.
So dog must be around more than enough that they have a name for it.
Yeah.
It's Walt's dog. Area code 916 gets let's get another. We get the treat of 2 916 messages. Let's get into it.
Please.
Hello, this is the voice at 916 calling back again. I just had another quick thought. It's a question as well. During the scene in which Boyd was talking to Martin in the dungeon or whatever that was, he made a quick statement about when you use the faraway trees, that's when they get you. What do you think he meant by that?
Yeah.
It went by so fast and there were so many other things going on that I didn't have time to really analyze that. But what do you think about that?
What I think
anyway, signing out. 916 at SEXY.
Ooh.
FM. Take care.
Wow.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I got to screen cap that. What I think is the star of the show is LMR's cat right now, who knows that we're on camera and is making sure putting on a show. What I think is that possibly Martin figured out the system a little bit, and the trees are used, as Tony said, someone's controlling it. So when the wrong person goes through it, they can trap them, similar to in Boyd because he's so capable. I don't know. Elmar, what do you think? Do you about what 916 was saying?
The thought that I had about that's when they get you in a way that with the tree, it's kind of, what is that technology again, Phil, from Star Trek, where they teleport you and they have to kind of like rearrange your DNA. They got your DNA.
The transporter. They literally take apart your inside
and put you back later.
As Tony has pointed out as well, who's to say that they used a similar thing in The Fly, and these faraway trees are not dissimilar to that. They also remind me a little bit of those Mario things in a late Mario Bowser Castle, like when you go in one door and you end up coming through a different place, and,
Right.
and you can never find your way through the maze. Ganon's
Yeah.
castle in the first Zelda game is like that too. You go into different rooms, and it's traps and mazes and stuff like that.
Mhm. So I'm thinking like being exposed to it, going through it once, that may be like your print or imprint is there somewhere. Not that they wouldn't have it already, but also at the same time, let's say you go once, you succeed, second time, and then they get you because you're like, oh, I was fine the first time, I'm gonna go again, and then they get you.
Or you think you're gonna wind up somewhere else, and you
Right.
wind up where they want you to go.
Yeah,
Because you
that too.
start
Yeah.
thinking it's random, and then all of a sudden they put you somewhere like,
Mhm.
oh, we got your ass. And it's who do we get you?
Mhm.
It's the big people. The guy, this was the guy who said, he's like, huh, you think the town, when he said, you think the town is bad, the town is where the creatures are at. The town is he's went through everything that they all went through, right? That's not what's bad. It's beyond the town. It's these creatures. When Sarah went out there and they said, all of a sudden, oh, you made them mad. You have to go to places mad. It's them. The people in control of the town, the people that's going to flood the town, the people that got people hung up there on the walls and are just playing with them and everything else. Those are the people that are truly bad. The people that are holding the spear, not the actual tip of the spear that we see that we see in the show so far.
Right now for us. Oh, sorry. I was voice texting my friend and saying I'm still podcasting and it's working now because the Celtics are still winning.
Oh,
he was asking me if I was still going or if I could talk about the game, and I said, well, they're up 10 right now, so I want to keep doing what I'm doing. I don't want to go down.
I want the Celtics to win so bad.
Sorry to interrupt it with sports ball talk, guys. Area code 613. Sorry.
Hi guys, this is Jessie again. I have a question. Why do you think that Elgin ran away from the diner and into danger if he knows where he is? Like he implies to Kristen's girlfriend in the bus. Why would he run? Also, why are the trees moving? Do you guys have any idea? Thank you.
I love you so much, and I love your voice, and I love you calling in, and you give great questions. So let's go through them real quick. Why would Elgin leave from where he was at if he knew exactly what was going on? We don't know exactly what he got, and whatever he got and he saw was enough to make him throw up, right? So we know it was bad, all right? But we don't know exactly what he's seen. I think when you're confronted in a situation where some people you don't know start pulling guns out and forcing you into a situation and you have a chance to go, you're going to go. You're not going to be thinking of what you saw, right? So I think it's more a situation like that. Just put yourself in that situation. If you are on a bus or a train or in your car and all of a sudden you pull over at your local Nice and Easy or whatever you have out there, 7-Eleven, Stewart Shop, whatever it is out there, yes, I'm trying to say stuff that could be worldwide. And you pull over there, and all of a sudden there's people outside with shotguns, like you got to get inside right now. And they cock the shotgun and shoot it. If you got a chance to break, you're going to break. And I think that's what he did. He just broke, not thinking of the full repercussions, just thinking of, I'm trying to fight a fight right now. It's time to get out of here. And I think that's what he was thinking.
People in the live chat, Wolf Spear and somebody else said it a second ago too. The amazing Mr. Freeman, saying that Elgin is suspect, and we got a call here that I think is about that as well. Area code 563. A question for you guys.
Hi, my name is Jared. I'm calling from Portland, Oregon. I just found your guys' stream and I thought it was really cool. I was just wondering if I could get your guys' prediction on how many people Elgin will get killed, and if the prisoner had good intentions by infecting Boyd, or if you think that is actually going to be a bad thing for the group. Thanks a lot. You guys are awesome.
Oh no, you're awesome, man. So I've said I think the worms may be good, but I think they were talking about that earlier on the stream. And as for how many people Elgin could get killed, I don't know. I think I'm not sure if he directly is going to get anyone killed. So zero. I'm gonna say Elgin's gonna save. They're gonna end up figuring out a way to harvest what Elgin can do and use it to their advantage. So I think they're gonna find a way. So I don't think he's gonna get anyone killed.
Elamar, what do you think about Elgin?
So actually, with him, I wonder, because after he's like, having all this those memories or dream, whatever it was, and then he's like, no, nothing happened. I didn't, I forgot everything. I think he didn't forget anything. I think he still remembers all that. And it reminded me again, I'm gonna bring up Star Trek, where Captain Picard lived his entire life somewhere and in just a couple moments. So I wonder if the dream that he had,
The Inner Light episode,
right?
With the
Yeah, it was so pretty. I love that episode. And basically, right, that melody, and then he knows it. It's
I
like
used to be able to
dreaming
play it.
of it, and yeah, dreaming of it, and he knows it all. Like he knows what's going on. He's just like not saying it, and that's a good one.
I used to be able to play it.
So yeah, I think he knows more than he's saying right now, and that's why I think he was running, because maybe he knows where he is, and he knows he can run away from them, from some of those creatures or monsters.
Yeah,
He's just not saying it.
I think he was just afraid of the people with the guns, and he was running away from them, not really thinking about anything else. Because I think when you get into situations like I'll put it to you like this: when I was young back in the day, I used to write graffiti all the time, right, in Queens, New York. That was my big thing. I loved writing graffiti. And there was one time I was on the highway, the LIE actually, and I was writing graffiti up there, and I had beef with a crew from Fresh Metals that were called KAC. Kill All Cops. They were called Keith Angel's Kids. The name person's name was Reps, regardless. But they had pulled up and seen me out there writing on the LIE, and they pulled up and they came to jump me. So I dashed across the highway. I was getting chased by them, and I cut across the highway. I did not look to my left to see what cars were coming whatsoever. But I just ran right across to try to get away. Thank God I survived it and everything else. There was nothing there. But I wasn't looking at the other cars like, whoa, I'm going to get hit by a truck. I'm going to get hit by this. I just ran because I was afraid at that time to get caught by 15 people, right? And all that. So I think it's more of a situation like that went on, that when it came down to it, he just bounced because he seen these dudes and he had an opportunity to get away. He just got away. He wasn't thinking about the things that he's seen on the bus that he had. He just wanted to bounce out of there. And I think that's what it was. And then after he got out there, and then those monsters started chasing him, that's when he was like, oh my God, they're eating people. Now, it may look like they're eating people because they're using their mouth to open them up, but you don't know if they're actually eating people. That's what it looks like from a distance and everything else. And that's what he used to describe what was going on in order for him to get inside protection and everything else with everybody else.
I'm typing. For some reason, I'm typing to Elamar instead of saying it. Yeah, he looks like a Muppet. He looks like a freaking Muppet.
Cute dog, yeah.
Yeah, it's a dog I'm watching named Max. He's a Muppet and a half. And excellent points, Tony. We do have. Oh no, let's play this one first. This is area code 563.
Hi, my name is Jared. I'm calling from Portland.
I already played that one. I'm sorry. And we have this one from 251.
TJ from 251. Quick little theory to throw out there. Why did Elgin get so scared waking up on the bus after a dream as if he had known what this place was the entire time, as if his parents had told him? I threw a comment into the comment section stating that maybe Ellis and Fatima was the parents of Elgin. Man, somebody give me some feedback on it. Thank you.
That's crazy, bruh. I mean, listen, I'm going to say it like this. The kid's too dark to be their kid. That's just the bottom line. Ellis is half white, half black, and she is Iranian, as what she came on and said. There's no way to get a kid as dark as Elgin. It just doesn't fly. It just wouldn't work like that.
Oh, that Elgin's future kid of...
If it was their kid and then their kid married a black woman, if there was their kid and then their kid and their grandkid and then their kid married a black woman and that was their grandkid, then yes. But as for their thing, no, that's not going to happen. He's just way too dark skinned for that to work. If they pulled that off, ain't no black person in the world would believe that shit. There'd be no way. They'd be like, hey, ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? There's no way. So no, I can't see that being that kid in the future. They would have had to have it look more like Ellis. They would have gave it at least an Ellis tone skin color to make him believe that it's his kid. And that's what they do on these television shows and everything else. So no way. No way. If he was Boyd's kid and Boyd had an affair and had a black wife, then yes. But if not, no.
And actually, when I first heard Elgin mentioning, like, oh my gosh, we cannot be here, turn it around, my first thought was that he is part of it. Like, he is part of the design of it on the outside, and somehow somebody, he ended up here. And he's like, no, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm one of the people who's outside. Like, he was scared. He looked scared to me that he knew what this was about because he's part of the others who know of it. But again, it turns out to probably not be that. But that was my first thought.
It may be that. No, you saying that is true. He said, I'm not supposed to be here. Maybe he's not. Maybe he is a part of the others, and we don't know that. I wouldn't put that past him. Maybe, listen, it could be like you could have been part of it, and all of a sudden they put your ass in it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, no, I'm not
he
supposed
could
to
have
be
did
here.
something bad. Was like, oh, now you're part of it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's it. So no, I think that's a possibility from what you're saying.
Blessed life, yes. I'm staring longingly into his eyes across the room as he's staring at me. Area code 613 again.
Hi, Johnny. Hi, Phil. I watched the scene where the bartender gets analyzed over and over again. And if you look at exactly the 35-minute and 55 seconds, you can see that.
I love her bringing the
Right
timestamps.
That's
Stamping it.
That's the way they do
the
it.
monster, it's in her true form to begin with, and she's completely pale. She has no hair over, and she's crouching over, ready to pounce on the bartender, and like an ambush does to, like an ambush animal does to a prey, which is quietly and swiftly, and which is quite a contrast to the way that Smiley kills the old couple in the bus. If you compare the two, he walks over them slowly and he talks to the old couple before he kills them. And when he transforms, you can see like he has a full head of hair, and his attack seems more sadistic than animalistic in nature. So you can tell that they're different. So is the creature that attacked the bartender one of the aliens in charge of the place that mix with the monsters and go out at night and pick who they want out of the game and kill them? Thank you.
I number one, thank you for keep calling. Love your call.
Yeah, we have one more message we can.
And I would say that it definitely was a woman because it was in a dress that went there. And yes, you see in the true form with the bald head and everything else. And then when Smile Monster, he didn't show the bald head with him. I don't know if that's just they're just choosing to do that. The creators and not being consistent. Last year, every one of them had the bald head when they did it. Every one of them, when they went to kill mode, had the bald head. And then when it went to this year, they're showing some of them with the hair and some of them without the hair. So I don't know if that's just a creative choice. They thought that maybe he looked creepier with the hair, or they wanted you to know exactly that it was him. That's why they kept it there. It's hard to say, but I would say that to me, it's like, where'd that motherfucker, how did he get down there from the beginning to kill that dude? They looked like a tight quarters situation. And this monster leapt at him. And then you had the situation with like Fatima and Ellis, they're right next to him. that cowboy monster, and they walk right in that building. They're right there. If they would have did that same leap, one of them would have been dead. So it seems like they're picking and choosing who they want to die and who they don't want to die for whatever reason. Because they wanted to kill this guy, they wanted to put his body on display. They had Fatima and Ellis dead to rights. Now it could be, a television situation where someone's running and they fall down from the monster and they're really right there, and then all of a sudden they get away, or you know what I mean. They do this. They go in through the doorway. They just happen to, the monster stumbles and falls before the door. It could be that, and but from what I've seen, like it seems like when they wanted to kill Father Khatri, they chopped his throat right off. You know what I mean? They reached out and chopped his throat off. They wanted him dead. They got him dead. She said the name Father and killed him. These other ones, they're shaking hands with people and everything else before they kill him. So it's a little wishy-washy for me right there.
And it's hard for me to imagine that after they killed the bartender, that a couple of those monsters couldn't have moved the house and gotten Jim if all the people dug him out eventually. And they must have known he was there if they were waiting to pounce on the bartender at the exact right time. So they knew Jim was there and they chose not to dig him out. So that kind of is interesting. That
it's just like they're killing who they want to kill when they want to kill them, and that's what it seems to me. What do you think, Alamar?
Yeah, I mean, they made their point with one kill. It's not like there would if they would kill both, then there's less fun for them later. They maybe want to kind of stretch it in time so they have more fun. And like I said, they made their point. They show that body outside. I was just wondering when they were pulling him out, the structural, I guess, damage that it would have crushed anybody else under there, but they're fine, so that's great. They live to be killed another day at some point.
And let's take the last call from 613 for the evening.
Hey guys, I was thinking about what Tony said about the fourth dimensional beings that were in the place where Martin infected Boy, and we can tell that Raggedy Ann is obviously only seen by Tabitha. However, we can tell that Victor sees the ball that Raggedy Ann throws that knocks down the tower and he gets scared. So is Raggedy Ann fourth dimensional being just like the ones that were torturing Martin, that you can not see, but they can control physical objects and things that happen in the game?
I think you're partway there. I think, yes, they are. That was a creature that is on some sort of different dimension. I don't think that was one of the overseers, only because it seemed to be caged. It seemed to be behind some sort of, but maybe that could have just been a door. That was just a setup that way. It wasn't actual. If they could throw the ball, they couldn't have been trapped in there unless they threw it out the window or something. But
I think you're onto it, and you got it, and right,
Oh.
and you should agree with me because I know what I'm talking about here. And I'm saying that they are fourth dimensional beings. That's what's going on here. They could have escaped into the fourth dimension. Now, I think that Tabitha hasn't seen them, but yes, if someone is in the fourth dimension, they can affect the third dimension. You would not know what's going on. So if you see the ball rolling, you would just see the ball rolling, but you wouldn't see the force behind what makes the ball roll. And that's what it's all about, being in the fourth dimension and everything else. So yes, they could be fourth dimensional beings, and they may be able to affect everything else that's going on in this world. As we've seen the Martin get killed by it, and with the house collapse, you wouldn't know the house collapsed for no reason. You could see the house collapse and like, oh, why did this house collapse? A fourth dimensional being would be able to to collapse this house without anybody seeing it. Where they talked about Schrodinger's cat, right? And that whole thing about it is that when the cat is in the box, you have no idea if the cat is dead or alive in the box until you move the box and then you force reality to pick whether the cat is alive or not. Well, if you're a fourth dimensional being, you can see through the box and you would be able to affect what's inside of the box by being in the fourth dimension. Again, I'll pull this up on my phone real quick about it. The book that was on Victor's desk that we seen is called The Dark River. And in that book, the main thing of the series of that book is called The Fourth Realm, about fourth dimensional beings and about different realms that are being controlled by what? By supercomputers that are keeping people under surveillance, and people have no idea that they're truly under surveillance. And that was the book that was inside of his room with Jade. So 100% think that that is exactly what is going on in this situation. But I believe it's alien technology. I think it's Jade's algorithm, quantum mechanics that allowed them to open a wormhole and catch an alien. And they caught these aliens, and now they're experimenting on them with human beings, and that's what's going on. And that's why their blood is all fused. They could be combining them with them, trying to get to maybe the ultimate human or whatever reason. But that's what I think is going on, and everything else. Big Daddy saying it doesn't seem like the book Victor would read. Maybe not. But again, as we talked to the actress who played Donna Liz, she said specifically that everything on the set was built from the ground up, and that the people put them all in there. That wasn't just a random book that they had on set and so let's put a book on Victor's desk. They put that there for a reason. They didn't think that the Don would go that crazy and enlarge that picture and see it. But I did. And that's what it is.
Ooh, whoops. But yeah, and I also think a good way of describing like a fourth dimensional situation like that would be like if you were playing Sim City or the game Civ, and they just have complete control over the game, what's going on in the players in the game, and can destroy a city if they want to destroy a city or something like that.
Well,
But
real quick, if you go into Interstellar, right? Let's just do Interstellar, which is about the fourth dimensional being real quick. Matthew McConaughey leaves the Earth because the Earth is in peril and it's got all these abnormal weather conditions and everything else. So that's why he leaves the Earth to try to find the new planets they can colonize on to get off the Earth because it's so bad. While he goes off into space, he winds up being in the fourth dimension. And it turns out that him being in there is what caused all these anomalies on the Earth already. So even before he left the Earth, the fact that he went there is what was causing the problems on the Earth, right? It's hard to understand that.
Tony, there's a movie that's coming out soon, and I don't want to spoil the upcoming Flash movie, but there's a lot to do with the Flashpoint story from the comic that has to do with this a little bit too, and it affects a lot in time travel stories as well.
Yeah, so he was there. So when you look at he was there, but things were already happened before he left, and it was him that left that made that stuff happen. And then he talks to his daughter, and that's why they're able to fix it. I think it's a situation like that going on with this show, and that's truly what's going on in the end. So that's what I think. I don't think they took the book and they're going to redo it. But I think it was a clue to deal with that there's something in the fourth dimension going on here. Creatures from the fourth dimension, the people being in the fourth dimension that's messing with everybody here.
And there's definitely something going on with, I'm just wondering, and I wonder how much we're going to find out about, I mean, I think eventually we'll find out all about it, but how much control these other chambers have, and is it going to be that we learn about something and then it's going to seem really daunting, like the town is the first layer, then this next layer is the next layer, but then there's another one even on top of that. There's another even higher group. So it's going to be interesting to see over the course of the next couple of seasons where they dictate this story.
AW Math MD says time is the fourth dimension. Quite possibly could be that. I'm not a math MD. Maybe you may know a lot more than me. All right, let's get up out of here right now. Elamar got to work in the morning. I've got to work in the morning.
Yeah.
We've been on here for almost 3 hours and stuff. Thank you all for coming on here, Elma. It's so great to have you back, though. And I
It
know
was a pleasure. It
it'll be
was
on a
so
regular
much fun.
hopefully it'll be on a regular basis. But we'll be here Friday, 7:15 p.m. rocking with Scott McCord, who it plays Victor. Make sure that you hear, and again, make sure you're subscribed, because I don't want it to be I don't want you to be shocked that when you see the chat and it says subscribers only chat. I want you to be subscribed. So make sure you subscribe to the channel while you can, so that you can ask him a question and everything else. We'll have the actress who plays Julie on in 2 weeks. It's going to be 2 weeks for Julie. She'll be on. That's done deal. It's already confirmed and everything else. She'll be on Sunday as soon as the episode ends. She'll be rocking with us right then, talking about that upcoming episode and everything else and stuff like that. Great time with everybody in the chat. Love you all. Fill the issues, guys. Do you have anything going on in the chat people should know?
Not right now. We're looking for another show, but a couple from videos coming out pretty soon. I'm gonna working on a couple of theory videos, and I may be on Sunday before the episode on Sunday evening around like 5 p.m. talking about catching up on some Star Trek Picard with Joe and getting Joe's thoughts finally on From. A couple people have been asking me and wanting to get from Joe's From thoughts. And he has watched the whole first season, and we'll be doing something on my channel on one of these upcoming Sundays at like 5 or 6 p.m. talking about that for a couple hours.
Let me take Luna's super chat real quick. What if the Father Cartry said Fromville was chaos? And how does that fit with what's happening now? That's what Father, right? Fr Cartry would be Father. What was it that Father Cartry said? Fromville was chaos, and how does it fit? So he was saying, what he said was that people who are weak-minded don't survive here, right? That's what he was basically saying. Like, the weak-minded people don't make it. And Boyd, he was telling Boyd, he was like, listen, I know you wish you had the luxury of grief, but you don't have that. You don't have time to grieve. You don't have time. You have to rule. You have to get through all these people. So I think that's what he meant by that. You know what I mean? That the weak-minded people can't make it here. And that's just what it is. So it could be a weeding out situation and everything else that with him. But thank you, Luna, for the super chat. Love you and love the support you show the channel. LMR, you can find her on this channel. That's where she is.
That's correct.
Hope to see you all in a couple of days on Friday. Hope to see you all there right now. Come through, man. We'll be here and we'll have Victor on here. If you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and as always, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace.
And stay sexy.
I hit the wrong button. I have to do it again. All right. Peace. And